What's going on? What's going on in these YouTube streets out here? How's everybody feeling on this beautiful Friday? Y'all feel all right? You better feel all right, because everything is all right. Woo! Uh-oh, Keish in the house. We got
Hello.
back, y'all. Go ahead. Say that.
Back from the Bahamas and the
Man,
islands. So
China
it was
says
so
she got
nice.
some China says she got some issues tonight, y'all. She got that she got some bad Wi-Fi or something. But she with us in the chat. She with us in spirit. How about that?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get it in. Because yes, indeed, tonight we're gonna fix it. We're gonna fix it tonight. Is that you, Linda Rose? Linda Rose. How you doing, Linda? Kimberly Ortiz, Beth Mikey, Honeybee Lee, Danita Joe in the house. What's up? What's up, everybody? Come on in, hit the like button. That you, Danita Joe. The Knock Furry came through. Latu Haruna, Beth Mikey, Honeybee Lee, Elaine B. What's up, my main man, Willpower? Willpower of the hour. Yes, Janet Cross in the building. Edith. What's up, Edith? How y'all feel tonight, everybody? How is everybody doing? You doing all right, Keisha? How was vacation?
It was nice. Everybody should go
Was
on
the
a cruise.
cruise
At least once.
everything? Was the cruise everything?
Yes.
Come
I
on.
did not want to come back. I
There
was
you
in
go.
the ocean in the
There you
nice
go.
weather. Yes.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Is that you, Merlin? Merlin. Merry Christmas, Merlin. Happy New Year. Laura White. Happy New Year, everybody. It's coming next week.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Crime Wars. Or is that crime something else? Say you new to the chat. Come on in and hang out with us, because you're going to learn something tonight. What's up, Sheila Barhe, Jackie Walters, Aqua Love in the building. Is that you, Autumn Marie? How you been? How you doing? Yes, indeed. How you doing? Stingray. What's up, Dion? Yes. Oh, my Keisha Spady. What's up, Elizabeth G? Okay, there we go. My prompter jumped up on us. Emma. What's up, Emma? Yeah. Everybody come on in. Hit the like button. What's up, Dion? Beth, Mikey, Stingray, Andrea Davis, Marilyn, Lindy Ruse. The one in the house. What's up, Felicia? I see y'all. Holly White in the building. What's up, Melissa? Yeah, Lady Virgo came through. I see you. What's up, Nicole? What up? Y'all ready?
Yes.
Before we get started, I'm going to shout out the sponsorship, Connie Barnes. Yes. The love is felt up in here, Connie. Yes. Woo! Yes. I stopped it early. How about that? That's what we doing. That's how we do it. That is how we do it. Y'all, we got Keisha back this week. You know, China said she couldn't get in. She couldn't get her Wi-Fi to do right. It just won't do right. You know, we get these electronics and then the electronics won't do right. You know? But we're going to do what we do because we love what we do,
Yes.
when we do what we doing, the way we do it.
Yes. I hope everybody had a narc-free Christmas.
How you going to have a narc-free Christmas? How you going to do that? What you going to do? Go hide in the desert somewhere? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So
They
tonight
sure do narc though.
so that's what we're gonna talk tonight. We're gonna talk about why won't the narcissist leave you alone? That's where we're going to start this conversation tonight. Why can't you get these people to leave you alone? Woo. Uh-oh. Marlon said, well, the narc tried to narc. Not happening. You just got to keep that door closed. You just got to keep that phone number blocked. That's all. They don't get it, but they won't get it. You know, so actually, this is something China wanted to talk about this one today. Like, why won't these people leave me alone? Please make them stop. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. And yes, I guess for me, I don't acknowledge it. For the most part, I don't acknowledge it. But at the same time, it's scary. It's kind of scary to me as well, because I think that for me, I want to just believe that this female understands that just ain't gonna happen. It ain't no need to even bark or even, go around that situation, because it's not going down. And I think that's my hope, that, that she gets it. Now, the reality of the situation tells me that, hey, she's going to ignore those obvious signals I think I'm putting out. But, narcs they already have an agenda. They already know what they did everything they could while they were there to make sure you knew you were not wanted by them. And then, isn't it ironic how you felt it when they left, when the relationship, when the way they ended it, you felt like, wow, this is really over. And guys, that feeling right there, that feeling is the exact same reason why the narc thinks that this ain't ever going to be over. Yeah, I know I said that, but the same way I said it's over is the same way I'm saying we together. Because they think that, okay, time done went by. Yeah, I dogged you. I dog everybody. They don't see what they do being a problem. And then they look at you, the way you, the way you pretended, the way you pretended that they weren't as bad as they were, the way you cooperated and put up with that craziness, that foolishness, the way you put up with the craziness, the foolishness. And a narc feels like, wait, I'm doing me. What do you mean? I'm doing me. I'm doing what I do. I'm back. So, and guys, that's the thing that we don't see. That this is the same. The person coming back to you, you're looking at the person like, wow, hold up. This is the same situation. This is the same person that made me believe with everything in me that there's no way we getting back together. There's no way. Not after the destruction that they caused. Ain't no way this fool tried to call again after all of the betrayal, the lies, the deception, after the narrative that they thought they brought it down. They thought they tore your entire life down. They thought that they covered every corner in their diabolical plan. Y'all sitting there looking at a narc like, why are you so quiet all the time? Yeah, I want you to know when they quiet, they're thinking about every angle that they are going to destroy you from. They're
Yep.
thinking, I'm gonna get you. And and guys, the one thing that you hold dear to you, that they know you hold dear to you, that's what they really are waiting for. They're waiting for the prime opportunity to rip your heart right out of your chest. No painkillers, anesthesia, no aspirin, nothing. They want to do some open heart surgery on you with no anesthesia. Everything is about destroying you, and destroying you to a point, destroying you down to the point where you only want them to stop.
Mm-hmm.
They want to destroy you to the point where you're begging, please just stop. Please, please, I can't take no more. They want you in a place where you're hurt so bad. They want to hurt you so bad that your knees buckle, that they want you to hurt so bad that you're willing to take them back. You hear me? They want you to hurt so bad that you're willing to get back in that craziness and not question them. Don't question me. I'm back, but don't question me. And that's how they just appear out of nowhere. They just appear out of nowhere and boom, hey, here I am. Out of nowhere. You didn't call them. You got them blocked. You sitting there getting your life back, and they feel it. They feel the momentum. When you really start getting your life back, when you really start getting your feelings back under control, they feel that. They like, whoa, hey, where you go? Where do you think you going? Because I'm not finished with you. Because by the time you start to feeling better and feeling good, that narc has already destroyed the other situation they got into. Well, y'all be thinking that these people really went somewhere and started acting right.
Mm-mm.
You really do. We really believe it, man. We be believing like, oh man, they together. It's been 6 months. They together. Man, the narc must be acting right. That's all it is. Wrong again.
Now, these are demonized people that actually get pleasure out of pain.
Ooh.
Like they actually, when they're
Whoa.
hurting someone, it feeds them, like they're happy. Like I've literally seen it, like whether they're smacking, a kid in embarrassment, like that happened over the holidays. Just watch, look what I do with them, and smack somebody, and it's embarrassing to the child, but the parent is like laughing like it's funny. That's a narcissistic parent. Like they love to humiliate, and they want people to join in and laugh at this humiliation. So for
Yes.
you to go off, how dare you, and repair your life, and then especially if you got God in and he blessing you, they obsess about the
Right.
moment that they can deceive you again, because they're deceivers, and that
Come on.
deceiving spirit gotta be fed. So
Come
they
on.
gotta deceive you again just to get that crack in, so they can do the ultimate destruction. Like ultimate pet cemetery.
Whoa.
Done it. I've I've
Whoa.
gotten back with a husband before. Pet cemetery.
That
And
cemetery though.
he said he waited a year and a half. Like I used to just dream about ways of just unaliving me. That's some crazy stuff. And now that I lost everything, he was like, I'm cool with that. And that's some sick stuff to say to a mother of your children that that you had married, and to really think that and believe it and get gratification from it. That's a
Yes.
sick mind.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what you're
And
dealing with a
he
narcissist.
probably, and not only that, when things start to go in that left direction, he knew the whole time what he was going to do. And
Mhm.
he just looked at it like, Keisha, I know what's in your heart. I
Yeah.
know you love me and I know you love your family. So you're going to put up with all of this mess. You're
Yeah.
going to put up with it.
Yeah.
You're going to deal with it. Now, in the back of his mind, he also knows there's a limit to how much anybody can take. They don't care. What they're hoping for is you just say, hey, you know what? I can't take this no more. Let me just go ahead and jump off this bridge or jump in the water
Yeah.
or
You got the
do
crazy
something.
people. They will call the crazy people, get you committed. They want to humiliate you at every angle.
Yes.
Make sure, like,
Yes.
first they cry, I want my family back. They'll hurt themselves. They'll put it all everywhere. They'll do all these, cry in the rain, sing in the rain, serenade, do everything they want to do. But the moment that snake slip back in, oh, it's gonna be the python grip. They gonna suffocate. Like, you're literally gonna need the mercy of God to get out, because
Ooh.
they're demonized. Like, the plan is destroy you and the bloodline. If the children are still healthy
Mm,
and they still young, they got to get back in
that
and get
part.
some more years to destroy those children, because the children go through the trauma too. Like, these
Oh
are
man.
people that they don't have love in them. Like, we have to understand that there are people out here that are like this. They do not have love in them.
Listen, first of all, your children, they already, it's like, listen, guys, ladies and gentlemen, whether we liked it, whether we want to admit it or not, we made it with the devil. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. We made it with the devil. We made it with an unlike spirit.
Yeah.
And now we praying that this don't come out in our children. And a
Yeah.
lot of children get caught up in it. A lot of children, that's how the narc keeps going. It's either going to go your way or the narc's way.
Yeah.
And it's the child's decision. That's all the narc want. And listen, they're grooming that child. They're grooming the children while they're
Mm-hmm.
there. And I know some of y'all saying like, well, this fool don't even come around. Exactly. That's how they groom the children.
Mm-hmm.
They don't come around. Because you know what that does? That makes the children want to be around them.
Yeah.
A child that hasn't got a relationship, that doesn't have a relationship with their other parent, that's a child that is always questioning what's going on, what happened with me, why did this happen with me, why doesn't my other parent want to have some a relationship with me like everybody else
Yeah.
does. So a narcissist knows this, and they know the power of distance from their children. They know the control that it gives them over the mind of the children. They
Mm-hmm.
understand. Listen, they understand this game, people. We sitting around here thinking, yeah, no, you wouldn't do that to your own children. That's exactly
Mm-hmm.
who they're going to do it to, because they couldn't do it to anybody else's children. They'll go into another relationship with someone else and they will treat the other person's children better than their own children. This is the kind of weirdo that I'm talking about. They will leave, won't have nothing to do with their own flesh
Right.
and blood,
Mm-hmm.
and will go to somebody new, and they will swear that they are best friends with this other person's child
Mm-hmm.
while treating their own flesh and blood child like they
Yeah.
are absolutely nothing. They have nothing to do with them, and they don't want to have any, and they're ashamed of them. They treat their actual children as if they are ashamed of them.
Mm-hmm.
But then they want this other person to feel, and these other children to feel, that they are the perfect parent. They're so loving and so nice, and they're this and they are everything but, ladies and gentlemen. These narcs are everything but. And again,
Yeah.
that is how they control.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that distance when you hear that, when that narc starts stuff, because you remember, they the ones starting the stuff. When you think about all of the confusion in your house, when you think about all the craziness that you've gone through, you ain't come home just starting something crazy for nothing. Because the
Mm-mm.
people the narcissist picked are people of peace. We just want to have a nice time.
Yeah.
We want to get along. We want everything to go the way it's supposed to go. We're not looking to, have this craziness going on in the house and all of this dysfunction around us. Guys, the narcissist knows you're ashamed of the dysfunction. They know it. And they're banking on that. They're banking on the fact that they're saying, like, look, man, at the end of the day, I know this embarrasses you to
Yeah.
not be able to have that normal relationship. Yeah, this is the holiday time. It's Christmas. You want to have that, go to that Christmas party where everybody got on their Christmas pajamas on Christmas Eve and, be festive and have a good time. The narcissist has been planning all year about how you ain't going to have that.
Yes.
You're not going to get that. You're not going to have that. And even if you and they know that's how we think. They know, okay, you done crept away. Okay, look at you. You think you about to go wear your matching pajamas with so-and-so and such and such, but you just don't know. I'm about to be back over there gaslighting you. I'm about to be back over there letting you know that I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. Yeah, what you gonna do? Because I came again. The narc is going to come back for you because they feel it. They feel your spirit. Oh, okay. You getting better. Look at you. Look at you out here getting better. Who told you could get better?
Especially if you got a call on your life. If you chosen by God, you really, and you dealt with a narc, you really have to understand spiritual warfare. I mean, your life depend on it, because the devil is not going to stop. He's gonna come for you in that bloodline. Something had access, whether parents was into stuff, whatever was happening, born into a narcissistic family. That's like being born into the occult. When you got that stuff going on and you try to get away and get your life together and shine and have a relationship with God, the devil is not having that. He is very possessive. So
Come on.
you would get a charismatic narc, you might get a covert narc, but this kind of stuff that they do, and I had a lot of stories like coming back to work, just hearing them from the patients. They've ruined a lot of holidays, but they'll leave a phone out. And then, like you'll be married and the wife will find the phone and find pictures of the guy sending his body parts to another guy and not even being intimate with the wife. Like this is the type of stuff that these narcissists are on. They're not interested in a marriage or loving relationship the way that we think that should go.
Mm-mm.
The
Mm-mm.
normal way, like you're married,
No,
you're together, y'all love each
no,
other. No,
it's
they
not.
want to be with you. If they're a guy, you and Bob, and you are just the cover to make them
That's
look
it.
normal to probably that witch mama they got or something. But they really
Ooh.
want Bob. Like, are they really want to do all this other stuff and this behavior, but they will never really be intimate with you like that. They'll take pictures, post it, send it to their family or however, but all the while, that's y'all are not really even together. Like, that's what they do.
Mm.
Or
You know,
they'll have the ex come over during a holiday and have y'all fight. Like, this is the kind
ooh,
of stuff
man.
that
Come
goes
on.
on in the narcissist's mind. And
Come
I
on.
even asked a relative, like, well, why would you go with the ex you with this one and that y'all together pregnant with some children? He said, I mean, they get a kick out of it. I was bored. You bored, so you hurt somebody? That's
Yes.
how they think. They have
Yes.
no remorse. It is no
Yes.
remorse, no morals, no integrity. And talking to him was like talking to a stone wall. Like, I knew I'm just talking to a demon and wasting breath, because that demon got a kick out of destroying somebody on a holiday and then being able to boast about it. Like this is the stuff that you dealing with when you're dealing with a narcissist. Because in childhood they made an agreement. I'm done with love, so that means you're done with God, and I love hurting people. It's funny to me. I want other people to laugh when I hurt people. Hey, I gotta.
Man, you talking about people that play dirty. You talking
Mm-hmm.
about people that look for the outcome. Listen, listen, I want everybody in the chat to just think for 1 second how the narc could always, they had you in fear of
Yeah.
how dirty they could go, how low they could go. They have you in fear of just how cruddy they are. Never, never
Mm-hmm.
will they ever come to the table and outlove you,
No.
outgift you, outshine something that's good.
Mm-mm.
Every time the narc has outdone you, it has been in something wicked. They could show you how wicked they are. They could show you. And guys, let me say this too. As cruddy and as dirty as they are, y'all think that we all think, and I'm going to stop saying y'all, we all have thought that the narc could go and just have their way with people. That, oh, just because I think that the narc looks good, that everybody is on that same situation. They on that same type of time, and they'll be able to manipulate everybody. Oh, they're going to be able to do what they want. No, and you're wrong again. You're wrong again. And they're not getting the pass that you gave them. They're not getting the pass that you gave them. That's another reason why they coming back to you, because you're the one that always gives them that pass. And they
Mm-hmm.
just looking for it. Just hey, come on, just one more time. Just one more time, please. Please let me make a fool out of you. Just one more time, please. I don't really want you. I just want to know I had you, I could get you and throw you away again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the ultimate betrayal, because they know once they break your walls down again, here you go again. I done broke your walls down again. Now you got to get over me again. One night with the narcissist, man, it leads you right back. It's going to take you 6 months to just get back to the place you were at.
Yeah.
Just one night with them.
Mm-hmm.
And some of us, man, some of us have been so sick that we like, hey, that's worth it. I'll take it. Poor
And they
thing.
want you to destroy your family. Like it's not even like the way that the enemy have them programmed. They just calling everybody. They don't even know why. They calling whoever they can call, because a narcissist always have to be yapping to somebody. They can't just sit alone. Like they have to be talking. So they got somebody always on the phone or in a ear or in a bed or somewhere that's going to sit there and just listen to the yapping, the garbage, the needless conversation.
There you go.
They have to have that. So if
Yeah.
everybody else is dogging them out and they see you glowing up and, oh, you might have some money, let me see if I can deceive them, whisper some sweet nothings,
There you go.
maybe get that debit card or whatever,
Come on.
maybe get a little bit of a outfit or something, and
Something.
then I can at least feel better about myself from this other one dogging me or putting me out.
Come
That's
on.
all they care about until the next one gets solidified, because they
Come on.
already been working on the next one. Now these are just like people that they target to destroy, that they feel are kind-hearted, are giving, are compassionate, that might use for money, for trips, or however. But that low life lifestyle, that is what they really prefer. Like you would think that,
Absolutely.
okay, they keep talking to their ex or whatever. It's not the ex, it's the best friend. It's the same sex one. That's the one that they really in cahoots with long term. It's
Mm,
just all of these other ones are covers. It's so
that's it.
many out there that's
Ooh.
on that other alternate lifestyle, or else they dealing with children. Like they have a level of perversion that is so wicked, because when you load it with that many demons, You can't have a pure sex life. That is not
Exactly.
happening. That demon
No,
of perversion, it needs to be fed. So they have some wicked fetishes that they are acting out.
they
So
do.
they either gonna target somebody with little ones if that's their thing, or they're gonna be on that same sex or swinging. They're gonna do something for that those demons to continue to destroy that body and everybody that they mess with. They giving them diseases. They don't care about that. They can care less how something smells. They are very trifling people. Like you really have to understand trifling people.
Man, the level that they go to prove how trifling they are, the levels that they stoop to. And I want y'all to understand something, ladies and gentlemen. When you're dealing with somebody that low vibrational, and I'm saying low vibrational, meaning their mindset, they're mentally under the ground. When you're dealing with somebody on that level, guys, you're allowing them to pull you down to that. The only way you can communicate with somebody that's low level thinking is low level. That's why
Mhm.
all the conversations got to be arguments, because that's who they are. That's the level they are on mentally. You wonder, why can't we just have a normal conversation where we can talk and resolve things? Because that's not the level. That's not low level thinking. Low
Mm-mm.
level thinking requires you to be disagreeable. It requires you to be argumentative. It requires you to be somebody that's disgruntled, want to fight. That's right. That's right, Speedy Rider. Trifling,
Yeah.
cruddy, and trifling.
And
It requires them.
they train themselves for weakness. Now, remember that brain scan I showed? Like I did some more study, and that's what I was doing the past couple weeks too. I did
Mhm,
more studies because I wanted to know with the missing areas of activity in the brain, is
mhm,
that something that they're born with, or can it be something that's changed? And the answer is both. But the part of the brain that is actually working is called a reptilian brain, because this crosses over to the spiritual, and it justify that demonic when
mhm,
they can turn their DNA into like that reptilian DNA, because we know what we see. And
mm,
so when
mm,
they constantly, it's called epigenetics, when you constantly doing a repeated behavior or a repeated addiction or a
mhm.
repeated like terrible thing, you do have the ability to rewrite your DNA. Like so they transform themselves into the image of Satan, into
Mm,
the serpent. And the reptilian part of the DNA, that's what they call it. People can look it up. It's like the base part, it's the instinct. So it's the sex drive, it's the lust, the food, fast
right.
cars, like all of that adrenaline. That's the part that they operate on, because they
Mm,
have trained themselves throughout life to the point where their DNA has changed. And with those studies, it showed that not only can it change, but it can transfer to the generation under them. So they can
wow.
genetically transfer the change of that DNA. So that's why the kids be acting ziggity boo that they breed. Like this stuff is so serious, but how we
It
can
is.
transform our minds to the mind of Christ and our DNA change for godliness, and we can transfer those good traits to our children. They can transform those wicked serpent traits to their children. And if you intimate with them, it can even transfer to you. Like you have to be very, very careful. Very careful.
Man, you know something too? So, when you're looking at how do they do this to the children, how does this relationship affect the children? Because so many of us want to keep the relationship together. We do. We want to keep it together, especially when you have children. We want to keep it
Mhm.
together because we want to give those children hope. We want to give them that balanced family. Well, first of all, it's sad to say it, but that's the worst thing that you could do. Try to keep that together, because your children are going to watch someone torment you. That's all they're learning. They're learning either to deal with people who are abusive and to stay with them. This is what you're teaching your child when you stay there. You're teaching them that there are reasons that are acceptable that I should allow someone to abuse me, to use me, to disrespect me, to walk all over me, to lie to me, to cheat on me, do me dirty. And I still should stay there because that's family. That's what the children are. That's what they're picking up. That's the lie that they're picking up. But you're also teaching them something on the other side. Because if the child is a narc, they're learning how. They're learning how to. Oh, I see that mommy ain't talking to daddy. Oh, and that makes daddy mad. And they're watching every move. And before you know it, they know how to manipulate you. Before you know it, your own children know how to manipulate you the same exact way because they've been watching the other parent manipulate you. They know that there is something in you that is not going to give up on them no matter what they do. They know that, you always been there for me and you're always going to be there for me. They're not worried about you. They wonder about the other parent who shows them that they could care less, that they have no cares in the world about anything. Uh-oh, my girl blitzed. Say Blitz, that's my girl. Hold up. Peaches something. Thanks for the super chat. Mwah. I saw her at the honey baked ham on Christmas. Yes, I did. Say we win, fam. Protect your mind. That's right. Protect yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, you gotta move like that out here. You've got to move like that out here. If you're not thinking of how you're going to protect yourself, man, you basically saying, I'm just going to stand here until this person does the right thing that will destroy me. I'm staying in it until. Guys, the biggest mistake that I can honestly, openly look back at and say that I committed, the biggest mistake I made in dealing with a narcissist, biggest mistake I made was staying in it for so long. Staying in it, guys, man, it was just like my head was so hard. I was determined. I refused to lose. I was like Mike Tyson till he met Buster Douglas, right? I refuse to lose. I'm not giving this up. We're going to make it through this. That's not a relationship, y'all. That is not a relationship. That is manipulation. Somebody got you sitting there, oh, we're going to make it through no matter what, blah, blah, blah. What is the reward? What is the reward when you always at each other? When you always arguing, you always fighting, you're always feeling down more than you're feeling up. I'll roll with a relationship, at least if I'm getting a strong 50-50. If my lows are crazy, but my highs are just as crazy. With a narc, no, your lows are going to be lower than anything you ever imagined. And your highs are just going to be like normal days for normal people. They're not going to be filled with bliss, wonderful, holding hands, kissing, loving, all that. That's not what it's going to be like with them. A normal day is just a day they didn't come in there arguing and fighting with you.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to call your good days. But your bad days are those days that you're going to find, you done caught them cheating again with somebody else that you know. And let me say this to y'all, man.
You got some, or they self, like that's some other stuff. I mean, there is no limits to their perversion. Like
None.
they
None.
have an infinite hellish way of thinking. Best way I can put
Man,
it.
I'm just gonna say, when you look at what a narc really brings to the table, when you look at how unbalanced your life is when you're with them, when you look at how stressed out you are,
Mm-hmm.
when you look at you asking yourself day by day, what am I doing? Why am I here? Why am I dealing with this fool? And you can, if you ask yourself, why am I in this? And you don't have an answer, guys, you need to start asking some different questions like, well, okay, I don't have an answer for why I'm in this, but what, okay, so how long am I going to do it? Give yourself a time limit. Stop. I mean, we're just these hopeless romantics. That's what a narc loves more than anything. A hopeless romantic.
And
Somebody that even when they give you no hope, you still hoping.
it's that too, but it's also spiritual. It's bewitching. They're like Medusa, it's like a bunch of snakes. Like that's what you really like dealing with. If people read Isaiah 59, they talk about these vipers, like these evil people. They think evil and they bring forth like just this iniquity, like that's all in their thought, in their hearts. They only plot wicked things, how to make people fail, and they release these viper eggs in the mind. So it's a lot of mind binding that is
Ooh.
happening when they do
Yes.
manipulation. Like that is it's on the same level as high level witchcraft and sorcery and mind control. It's literally mind binding serpents in the brain. And it talk about they weave a spider's web. So they get in and they might say, hey, it's smooth. I might take you here or let's do this. But slowly a web is weaving. And then before you know it, stuff start happening with their destructive demons, like car breakdown, something else happened, they living with you. It's like everything happens within like 2 or 3 weeks, and now they're here to
Mm.
stay, but it's such a tight web in your life. It's like I don't even know how to get this person out. Then
Man, oh
they
man.
keep weaving it. Then it's like, do I really want this person out after the gaslighting? Because they're constantly moving their lips, spitting poison. They always in your ear, mumbling. You can't even go to the bathroom. They will go in the bathroom and still be talking. Like every time they're constantly doing that, it keep you in a state of confusion where you can't even think straight. But that spider, Black Widow, weaving that web,
Man, oh my
you getting
goodness.
that mind track. And once they got that lock
Woo.
spiritually, it talk about when the eggs hatch, it hatches vipers. Now the snakes is all in your head and stuff. Like all kind of systems are affected. So that's when
Yeah.
you go siggity boo. That's how the origin of
Ziggity
the
boo.
voodoo man happens. Yes, you be
That's when
sitting
you
there like,
go
well,
ziggity boo.
I don't know. Like he did black my eye, but I don't know. Maybe I pushed his fist
Hold on,
into my
what
too
cartoon was
hard.
that? What cartoon was Ziggity Boo? What show was that?
Oh, no, I gotta think. It might have been an oldie but goodie.
Uh,
But that's how people be, because they sit there like,
uh,
even like one person was like, I seen the pics in the phone, sending the private pics
yeah.
to the dude, and I don't know, I know
Oh
he went
yeah.
through a lot, and I'm like, you maybe he gay. I mean, he seemed like he got some issues
Oh
that is
man.
like beyond you that you might not be equipped to stay married
That's
to.
how it is.
It's
That's how it
like,
is.
well, I
Hey, look,
think
hey
maybe
Tish.
counseling to help intimacy with a dude. I mean, are y'all just
Hey,
gonna agree to it? Like,
hey. Listen, I got a special guest that wanted to come in here and hang out with us for a minute. Miss
yay.
Harriet Botang. Okay, I'm hoping I'm saying that name right. Okay, okay,
Hey,
Harriet, we got
hey,
some time.
why
We're gonna kick
not?
it with some people tonight. We're gonna kick it with some people tonight. Come on in here and hang out with us. How you
Hi,
doing?
hey, Miss Harriet.
Hi, how are you?
Good,
So I'm
Doing
good.
Harriet.
good.
I just wanted to share with you guys my take. So in my experience, because I grew up in a narcissistic family, it it predisposed me to attracting those types of people when I became an adult. what happened was that I later on realized that it was my mother who was doing this the whole time. And how she did it
Mm.
was, when she started out as a woman, I think because she wanted to live a certain lifestyle, get a certain type of guy, she dabbled in witchcraft. And with witchcraft, once you get the guy and you have the baby, one of
Uh-oh.
those children has to be a sacrifice. And this is very common. I'm from West Africa. I live in UK, but
Okay.
it's quite common to, let's say, sacrifice one of your children.
Mhm.
Mm.
So in my mother's case, it was me because I was the first child. And as I grew up, and the thing is, when I look at my even my childhood pictures, she always dressed me up like a boy. And I never really understood it. When she bought me toys, she would buy me a teddy bear instead of like a doll. And she would buy my sister what was it called, a toy, a doll. She would buy me a teddy bear, a doll for my sister. And I thought, again, these things don't make sense till you become an adult. Until when I think I reached my early 20s, I wanted to go to university and study to become a healthcare worker. She was like, no, 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 no. You should become a mom, basically become a single mom, get like a welfare house and, settle down. And
Mm.
because going to school, all of that thing, this is too much. And initially I thought maybe she was right. But then my passion was to study. And she said to me, in our family, those who study do not go on to have good love lives. So I should focus on, becoming a mother and all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, no, I went on to become to study. And while I was studying, I was in a relationship, not knowing that I had attracted a narc. I did not know until I finished university, and it's just all hell broke loose with that relationship. Tried to get into another one, it doesn't work. Tried to get to another one, doesn't work. It was just like it's as if something was standing right beside me. And every time I got into a relationship with an unsuitable person anyway, it fell apart. And
Mm-hmm.
I felt the spirit of rejection. I
Mhm.
felt not worthy. I felt again my femininity being under attack, just like it was under attack when I was a child. Because when I was a child, I was being kind of indoctrinated to be less feminine, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Mhm.
So yeah, this
Mm.
whole knot thing is very, very demonic.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
You know,
eventually,
I'm thinking while she's speaking,
yeah,
because because I know somebody like that. I know a narc that grew up like, and I'm wondering, wow, is that how a mother grooms a daughter? By little things
yes,
like
they,
giving them toys. Like she said, she would get, instead of a doll baby, she would get like a GI Joe, and she would get
yeah,
boys toys and
yeah,
clothes dressed up like a
yeah,
boy. And
Mhm.
yeah, yeah,
wow.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, they will kind of teach you to be less feminine. And when you grow up and you're having problems with relationships, again, that reinforces that because you
Mm.
feel a lot of that spirit of rejection. You feel less feminine, you feel unworthy, and you feel like,
Mhm.
what's going on in my life? And
Wow.
it becomes like a cycle. And it's not just relationships, it's also your, even because when your relationships don't work out, it affects your, let's say, your work life, your
Yes.
Mhm.
ability to even think properly at work or perform as well as you can. It affects your social life, it affects all aspects of your life.
Yeah.
And the thing is, at the same time, the person who's doing it, the perpetrator, is also giving you advice, giving you,
Mhm.
oh, why don't you do this? Oh, why don't you do that? Maybe you should wear this makeup. Maybe you should do that.
Yeah.
Not knowing the whole time something was done to me when I was a little girl. So
Mhm.
Wow.
I
Lady, listen,
prayed about
I
this.
don't mean to just interrupt,
Yeah,
but you dropping so much. You
yeah,
dropping so much. And I'm saying
yeah,
so many people do not understand
yeah,
Yeah. Those
how
roots.
those little intricate things, how something as simple
yeah,
how something as simple as just buying you a certain kind of toy, putting you in certain clothes,
Yes.
not
Mhm.
Yes.
even knowing. And you
Yes.
think, I want y'all to, everybody in the chat, I want y'all to hear me and
Yeah.
hear what this woman is saying, how just turning, just twisting just the inkling
Yeah. Yeah.
of your femininity,
Yeah.
how difficult it makes life
Yeah.
and mating and choosing and getting with a mate and
Yeah.
keeping that together,
Yeah.
because they're adjusting your nature
Yes.
from
Yeah.
childhood.
Yes.
But
And
it's
when
it's
somebody adjusts it
Yes.
and just gets you slightly off keel,
Yes.
mhm.
you're sitting there trying, you're wondering like, well, what's wrong? Is something wrong? It ain't me. I'm
Yes.
me.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
then you have a world that we all live in. We have a world that we all live in, but nobody's saying, because right now you see the internet, it's a war on the internet. Men and
Yeah.
women, it's a war on the internet. And of course, somebody's getting paid from that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what we're not seeing is we're not having successful relationships, and nobody is coming up with the real answer on that. And they're
Yeah.
I
not, and
yeah.
even the
Yeah.
people who scave over the real answer, because it's slightly out there, but it's being put out there in a way where it's not, you're not able to digest it. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, if somebody tells you the truth, like, look, man, you ain't get that job because your breath stink, and you stupid.
Mm.
Somebody tell you something like that, then you feel like, whoa, 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 that's offensive. But if they say, hey, you know what? The next interview you get, you really gotta focus. You gotta focus on your appearance, you gotta focus on your hygiene, you gotta have this thing together.
Yeah.
And when somebody brings it to you the right way, you can more so see it.
Yeah.
But when she explained that just now, it just made me think like, wow. So you could take a little girl
Yeah.
and you can say, instead of giving her girly things,
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of treat her like a little tomboy
Yeah.
and raise her that way.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know because she's a child.
Yeah.
She's a child, that her nature may attract her to soft things, but that's not what mom is giving.
No.
And if mom is uninterrupted,
Yes.
and that is the goal,
Yeah.
that is the goal, for her to be able to isolate you and to be able to take you and destroy a part
Yeah.
of you,
Yeah.
which is the femininity.
Yes.
That is the main characteristic that is going to, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling y'all, man, y'all are designed in a way where men cannot resist. We cannot resist women. Okay. But we're resisting it right now.
Yeah.
And that is why. And
Yeah.
we don't even see it. Even though you
Yeah.
do have some men saying it like, well, hey, y'all too masculine, you're too this. But they're not saying it in a way where women can hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then most of the time women are ashamed to be able to, and some women might not even know that,
Yeah.
wow, my mom we didn't have little tea parties, and I didn't have little girly things growing up, and always wear dresses. And no, they putting little girls in shorts and pants, and this was the generation that happened in.
But
Yeah.
I want to know, have you addressed this in a spirit, like the things that has happened? Because
Yeah.
you
That's
said
what
you,
I was just about to say. So, I think the beginning of this year,
mhm.
was the great awakening for me. So a gentleman was at my church just said to me, "Oh, but Harry, you're a really nice girl. How comes you're not married? What's going on? Blah blah blah." And I said, "I feel like I'm going around a mountain. Like everything just falls apart. I don't know why." And he just laughed and he said something that was really poignant. He said, "I cannot buy what you're not selling." And I said, what do you mean by that? He said, a man's enemy shall be in his own household. Sometimes when you're having these problems, it's usually the root cause is usually from your own household. I thought,
Mm.
no, this is too far fetched. So I think 5 months later, I was having the same conversation with one of my colleagues at work, and he was, because he comes from my country as well, back in Ghana in West Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying the same thing. He was saying, you need to start praying. You need to start seeking the Lord about this, because it's just strange. I mean, a lot of things have happened in your life, and it's just none of it is
Yeah.
explainable. So I took 2 months off work, and I started praying, fasting and praying. I
Mm.
was really serious about it initially, but there were times where I took some time off and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the the prayer that I prayed was, I think, Luke 12 verse 2,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
where nothing that's hidden from me shall not be uncovered. So I kept on meditating on that. And apparently when you pray on with scriptures, and you
Yeah.
really mean it, and you ask for God for guidance, he opens the door for you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
as I was speaking to one of my friends who said to me that after the fasting and prayer, either through a dream or the person who's bewitching you is going to appear, either through a dream or the person is going to appear.
Mm-hmm.
And towards the end of my fasting, guess who called me? Lo and behold, my mother. She's like, oh, I haven't seen you. I haven't been to your place.
Yeah.
She has not visited my place in 5 years. She doesn't
Mm-hmm.
even know where I live.
Yeah.
Wow.
Suddenly, she wants to visit my house. So I was like, wow. I was so shocked because I, the thing is, I hold my mom to high esteem. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't expect this. And the thing
And,
is, it's like I would do anything for her.
mm-hmm.
Mm.
Even
That's
though
common too. Like that's
I was not seeing her on a regular basis. I was sending her money by direct debit every single month without fail. How
mm-hmm.
could you do this?
So she's deceived. So when
So
your mom is deceived, you still put like some honor on her because she's deceived, but there's a bigger kingdom that's married to the blood, like a covenant has happened with your bloodline. So
so
that covenant, that's
yeah,
what causes all of this narcissism
exactly.
stuff, that
Exactly.
altering covenant that has to be
Exactly.
broken.
Exactly. So I realized, so I started thinking back, and I realized that all the bad advice, oh Harriet, do go and be a
Mm.
single mom because you're less of a woman.
Mhm.
Go
Here's a
and go
setup.
and date this bum because that's all you can do. Because seriously, it's like, and
Yeah.
the thing is, it's very subtle.
Mhm.
It's very, very
That's
subtle. It's not
that is
obvious.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That
It's
when
not obvious
somebody
at all. It's
does
like,
something,
oh, you need to start saving up because you may not meet a guy who even
Yeah.
works. I'm just like, what?
They tear
And the
that's
your
thing
how
women
it's
is,
down.
done.
the previous month I had brought home a guy who works, but no. And the thing is, the moment I bring the guy home and I express the interest to
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
my mom over the phone, like, oh, I've met this guy, I like him, blah blah. She was like, oh, send me his picture. And then I'm excited, send
Something
him
over
his
the
picture,
picture.
and then 1 month later, boom, the relationship is
Mhm.
done.
Yep.
Wow.
That's what they do.
Wow.
Because
I'm
they
just
can
like,
bewitch the
wow,
picture and then they can make the desire completely go away. And a spirit
exactly,
spouse will work with in tandem with the
Whoa.
witch.
ex-
Like that's how it works.
exactly.
Wow. Man, that
Yeah.
is some dark energy.
That's the setup. When you get sent a narcissist, the bloodline has to be evaluated because either there's some occult in there, there's some
Yes,
lodging in there. If you wasn't
yes,
in the occult or anything, you didn't join yourself with the occult because
yes,
that person was the occult. They had
yes,
something going on with them because that's how they become who they are. Like
yes.
something in that bloodline was really attached to Satanism, like something dark, but it's
I
really
I
deep.
started praying. I started praying more and more till October. I stopped sending her the money. She called me end of October to ask her where's her next installment. I told her that I wouldn't be sending her any more money. And since then, my mother, who gave birth to me, I've not heard from her. And it's what, end of December. I've not heard from my
Mhm.
mother since October.
That's what they do. It's
That's
transactional.
typical.
They don't it's and they tell us even like in the Bible, like in the last days, they are without natural affection. Like
No,
mothers do not have natural affection
no.
for their daughters. Like
But
that's in a narcissistic family. No, they don't want your life to be better
yes,
than what they felt their life was.
exactly.
They want you to
Exactly.
be
Mm.
substandard to them. And
That's
so
that.
Exactly.
they'll
That's
train
that
you for like
jealousy element.
harlotry or any relationship of a good potential. They'll subtly
Yes.
like if they don't dress provocative around them, they'll subtly say
Yes.
like, "Oh, well, they're not good," or they'll gaslight you into dissolving
Yes.
that one and then being with the bum. Because with the
Yes.
bum, you'll always be substandard, and they can control both of you guys. So it's
Yes.
like it's very Jezebelic, but that thing is terrible. Like
It's really, really terrible.
it is
It's really,
terrible.
really, really. And one thing I also learned is that they use what my mom used on me was what we call neurolinguistic programming in psychology.
Mm-hmm.
So where they use neurolinguistic programming is where, like, let's say she would call me in the morning, right? And she
Yep.
calls me. She used to call me every single morning. Let's say at least 5 times a day, at the very least, because we
Mm-hmm.
lived in different cities. She doesn't know where I live, but she calls me every morning, and she will call me and we'll have conversation. How are you? How is this? How is this? Just regular conversation. But what she would do is because what she's done is since my childhood, I am attached to an altar. And
Mm-hmm.
what she does is she will say a negative
Mm.
word, but place it in a sentence where the negative word will go to the altar. But
Mm-hmm.
to me, it will sound like a normal sentence. So
Yep.
let me give you an example of that sentence, which she literally said to me, and it had an effect. And I'll tell you what that sentence was. She said to me, Harriet, you know, you will get to a certain age where you will feel ashamed. You will feel so ashamed, right?
Yeah.
Ashamed is the word that the altar will pick up.
Mm-hmm.
So I will start carrying the spirit of shame when I see
Mm.
my friends. But to me, it sounded like,
Mm.
Harriet, you will feel so ashamed. It sounded
Mm-hmm.
empathetic, but it wasn't.
No.
Now, if I said this to
Mm.
somebody, they'll say, this is Harriet. Your mom is just being empathetic. Come on. It's no, 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 no. That's why they
No.
say they speak with a forked tongue.
There
It's
you
the
They
go.
word.
say
Yeah.
one
It's
thing,
split. Yep.
but it actually means the other.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
That's the witch.
duality with the
It's a
language.
duality.
Yeah.
Yes.
Words is everything in witchcraft.
when
It's
you when you
spells.
pick this up,
Ooh.
when I picked this up, I stopped talking to her completely. That's why the Bible says evil communications corrupt good manners.
Yeah.
Mm.
Neurolinguistic
Mm. Mm.
And that's
neurolinguistic programming, it just literally stands for neuro. Neuro means your neuron. Neurons are the wires in your brain.
mm-hmm.
Linguistic is language, right?
Yep.
And then programming, you're programming the person. So you're
Wow.
giving them
That's
the idea that, oh, yeah, I'm saying something good. But really, the occult, the altar is picking it up and putting in the spirit of shame into your mind. So when
mm-hmm.
you see your friends, or when you see when that thing that she talked about comes up, i.e., when you see your friends, you feel ashamed because you're not where up to they are supposed they are, or you're not doing what they are doing. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and these are
No,
with the
I
narcissistic women,
absolutely get it.
like guys that have children with women who are narcissistic. These are what the children are going through. So when they come
Yeah.
around and it's like, oh, they don't like their dad, the mother is literally training them. Like they would say stuff, oh, well, your dad, they never wanted children, but they're subtle with it. But you get a
Yes.
seed of
Mm.
rejection every time that they say it. And that's
Yes.
like one of the sentences that they repeatedly say so that
Yes.
it's so ingrained in your brain when you finally do see your father, you're
Ooh.
filled with anger and rage because you're like, you never wanted me, you rejected me. And that
Yes.
could totally not be the case. But
Yes.
they are highly influenced by a Jezebel witch spirit. That's the
Yes.
principality over them. And that
Yes.
thing is ultimate destruction. Like it will completely destroy the mind. And they
Yes.
program you when people feel like they can't leave. The narcissist is always talking. They have to
Yes.
understand that
Mm.
usually they got the breath of death, like it's a foul smell because
Yes.
when they speak, it's venomous poison. And you
Yes,
can only counteract this stuff with the word of God. Like you really have
it's
to
true.
know who Jesus is. You gotta tear down altars, you gotta tear down covenants, you gotta
Yes,
come against
But
work.
holy Keisha, you
Like
gotta first know that there is an altar.
to know
You
what's
gotta
happening.
first know,
there
and
there is,
that's what I'm
that's the
saying.
difference.
Like they
That's
getting
the
clueless.
difference
Like,
between, yeah, that's the difference between, let's say, a normal regular pen. Because I can say, Keisha, you feel this, right? And
yeah.
it will have no effect. However,
Right.
when they say it, it's almost like their words are charged. The
Hmm.
reason being is that they have the altar working for them against their own
Damn.
family members.
It's that deep. All right, I know it's deep.
Hold it.
It is. They should have
Hold it,
That's
taught us
the
man.
in
difference,
church,
because
Y'all
I can
going
break
say
it
it to a
deep
down.
in
normal
here.
person, it won't make
Good
any difference.
gracious. Ladies and gentlemen, man, I hope y'all got y'all notepads out
We have
tonight.
entered the twilight zone.
I hope y'all got, because, and I'm saying everything this woman
Yes.
has said is just resonating. It's resonating with me just on a whole nother level.
Yes,
Because
Mhm.
again, we in a place of immaturity right now when it comes to relationships. It's just finger pointing. No, it's y'all, it's not us, it's y'all. And no, it's y'all, it's not us, it's y'all. And I'm saying, just in that moment, I heard her say something. And she said something that I mean, it struck me like a lightning bolt. When
Mhm.
little girls are about maybe 2 years old, they start putting them in shorts. When they're one, infants, you putting them in shorts. You ain't putting them in skirts and dresses no more. There was a time where women only wore dresses and skirts, where women were absolute girly, feminine, and
Yeah.
that's all it was.
yeah,
And this is the generation. Our
Yeah.
generation really is the one that came about with the no, women can wear this, they could look like men. And that's not the design.
yeah,
That's not the
Yeah.
design. And I'm just saying, just in something just that small, because I mean I caught that part, but it's
Mhm.
so much more going on in this
Yeah.
conversation because,
yeah,
like she said, that altar. See, when
Mhm.
she said altar, most people think of an altar like at the church. You know what I'm saying? You don't think of a mental altar.
Yeah.
And they're using these words to convict you.
yeah,
And she said it. It's like, wow, does this word have power over me? It doesn't have power
Mhm.
over you, but that word is charged
Yeah.
yes,
and it's there to plant a seed inside your mind. And if that seed grows and you stop believing, if you stop trusting in you, then absolutely, then that devil's plan is working.
yes,
Because the codependency is nothing but an altar. Like our bodies are temples. So now we got these altars even in our bodies. Our bodies are portals between the spirit realm and the natural.
yeah,
So when you come across a master warlock or sorcery high
Mm,
level witch with a narcissist, we use the term narcissist. That's a kind way of saying like devil's advocate. When you
yes,
come
mhm.
across the devil's high priest or high priestess, that's what you're dealing with. When you come across them and you form an altar once you hit the trauma, once they go ziggity boo left on you and you split and you don't know what just happened or what's going on, and then you destabilize like walking in fear and eggshells. Fear and sadness, heightened emotions causes you to dissociate. You can
yes,
voluntarily dissociate yourself and you
yes,
will form an altered personality. Or
yes,
if you've already been groomed to have your soul fragmented through growing up in a narcissistic family, witchcraft, or whatever, you got soul fragments out there, that alter will come and now be living in your body. So now
yes,
you are like this codependent personality where they're like, I don't know how I would go and rob a bank with this person. I don't know what I was thinking, all of that. That was not the real person. That was an altar and a
yes,
demonic super
Mm.
ruler power. It was in the body, in that person, using it as a vessel. That's
yes,
what happens with
Woo.
these altars. The
yes,
altar summons up a power, like a principality.
yes,
The narcissists, their bodies, they have open altar. because they are willingly, they are like in an agreement, a covenant with a
Mm-hmm.
deceiving spirit at all
Yeah.
times, a ruling power. Like, I
Yes.
will let this spirit use me to manipulate others to get what I want at any cost. Because
Yes.
they got that covenant with the devil, their bodies is just an open altar. So that's
Mm.
it. That when they come up with this alter ego, ego means so, it's an altar summoning up a superpower, and that is what is like relentless to destroy your life. And they got a supernatural ability to do it. Like, you
Yes.
can be very strong in Christ, but if you're going up against a superpower demon on
Yes.
steroids, because
Yes.
they are high priestess or high priest, you really, it's a fight you can't win.
Yes.
You have to get out of it, and
Yes.
hopefully can get your children out of it.
Also, there is this thing where when they are doing this witchcraft on you, in psychology, they call it depersonalization, where sometimes you feel like you're being taken out of your body. You feel like somebody is trying to move you out of your body.
Mm.
And that has to do with the fragmentation. It's almost like they want to fragment your soul. And like
Yeah.
you said, for an altar to take place, for an altar to, insert themselves in that open space. So you experience this personalization. There are some times where you also experience the realization. In both cases, it's almost like the person will tell you, I feel like I was walking on clouds. I felt like
Mhm.
I was disconnected from my body. I felt like I didn't even exist anymore. And there are people who, once they experience, because I went through a period of time when I was living
No,
at
I
home.
get it. I'm
This
getting
was
it.
after
I'm getting
university.
everything you saying. I'm
Yeah.
understanding it. I'm getting it. You got me zooming back into, man, going, you know what? This is how I feel when you with the narc.
Yeah.
This is how
So
it feels.
so it's
Yeah.
almost like, yeah, it's almost, and this is where you experience the maximum amount of brain fog because you're
Mhm.
connected, it's almost like you're disconnected from your spirit. It's almost like you're just a vessel walking
Right.
Mhm.
around. And if you're not careful,
Mhm.
in my case, and I can speak for myself, but I think it's probably true for other people, this is where you sin the most
Mhm.
Mm.
because naturally a codependent and empath will not necessarily go out and drink, smoke, do all these crazy things. But
Yeah.
when
Right.
you fall into that state where it's just you're disconnected from your spirit, where you experience depersonalization, derealization, where you don't feel like even you're a real person, you
Mhm.
will sin, you will fall into sin, you give up, you're like, after all, I'm tired of this. Let me just get a cigarette. Let me just take alcohol. Let me just go and sleep with that person. Because these are maladaptive coping mechanisms for something that you cannot even explain. So doing
Mhm.
those things sometimes takes your mind off it. But when you come out of it, it's like it's like you feel sorry, but at the same time, you want to take accountability for it, but you can't because it wasn't really you. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Yep.
It's
It's
Yes.
it's
like,
difficult to explain. It's like you're pushed into something which you, in your right mind, you would not normally do. But
Right.
now you
Right.
have to apologize for it or repent for something that you would not normally do,
Yeah.
but you were
And
doing it
it's
you
as a
get to
the
a
coping
place where you
mechanism.
Lululand.
trying to figure
You
out
went to
like
the Lululand, the real core, because they call that a
Exactly.
core personality. The core personality is sitting in the Lululand somewhere, all on the hills and pastures, and I don't
Yeah,
even know what's going on. But the you that is like everybody interacting with, that you is doing just terrible decision making, things
exactly.
that you would never
Exactly.
have done if you was in your right
Exactly.
mind.
that's
That's
and that's
why they
every
gotta
last one of us.
constantly talk. Once they meet you, the narcissists do not stop talking. Even when you're trying to sleep, and they talking at a frequency that's like it's a low frequency. It's a frequency that the subconscious is gonna catch a whole lot of other stuff that might be going on.
There you
Because
go.
it might be like two or three voices talking, but you're gonna only hear one, but them demons gonna be talking too. So you
Yes.
got that in your ear constantly, and so your mind now is just getting reprogrammed for the narcissist to become a slave to them. Like,
Mm.
you literally, when it say you become a slave to sin, like they become your idol, and you literally want to do whatever it takes to worship this
Yes.
idol.
Mm.
Like,
Yes.
you would give up it's decisions that makes no sense. You send the children somewhere else. The narcissists don't want to be bothered, or do this, make them stop crying. You would go along with it because it's so much demonic powers that are involved when you're dealing with a narcissist. And they got that smile, like they seem so sweet. They're
Yes.
demonized.
Man, you
It's
know
about
what? You
a
know what
million
though?
of them in there.
I
And
think
my
that
mom
it's more
cooks
so.
for these people every single weekend at church. She
Hmm.
cooks for people. She's on the outside. She seems like a sweet church going lady. And
Yeah.
That's how they get
I,
us. That's how they
I
get us.
I think the cooking, I think the cooking is also part of siphoning from people,
Hmm.
siphoning from people's
Mm,
marriages, siphoning from people's families. Because when I cook for you and you eat my food, right? And let's say I have given you food or from altars, it means that I have certain amount of access to you. I can call on your spirit at night and give it information. So, like, let's say you're married, right? Let's say this is a married couple. I want them to separate because that's what they like doing. They like separating marriages. They
yes.
don't like anything of God. So, let's
There you
say
go.
if that's a happy couple. They want to separate that happy couple. What they would do is they would bring food on a let's say on a Saturday or a Sunday to church, and then they would feed your husband or your wife, and then
Wow.
they would do this on a continual basis. And then with that, in the night, they will call onto his spirit and then give
Hmm.
him instructions. You need to leave your wife.
Ooh.
You need to do this. So when he wakes up in the morning, he will fight over the toothbrush. He will fight
Yeah.
over toilet rolls.
Mm.
He will fight over a cup of tea. It doesn't, and the fight doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't. I seen it happen
Wow.
with the
No,
deliverance
And that's how they
ministry.
do
I
everybody,
it.
literally
everybody in this
seen it
chat
happen.
has seen that happen.
Yes. And they
Everybody has
just,
seen that
it's like
happen.
it makes no sense. But then, like, if you can discern it, you can see, like, okay, that's a whole witch. Like, being in deliverance for a while, you see it. But when a person is a religious narcissist and they're deceived, they might think that they're being set free. They might go through like one session, roll over, bark, or however they did not come out of agreement with the deceiving lying spirit. So they didn't really truly repent because they're still lying all the time. Like, they enjoy
Mhm.
lying and manipulating. So they're
Yes,
never going to give up that fake self. They may or
yes,
may not know it exists. But when you're in that situation, it's very dangerous for you because it opens up the door for so many witches and warlocks to come and just send all these attacks your way. Because you probably married to somebody, a whole demon. Like, you got a covenant agreement with Satan kingdom, like, signed off. You
And
signed and
don't
said,
even know.
I do. And
And
so
don't
that
even
just
know.
allowed all of this stuff. And then you have the sickness, the nightmares, the bad dreams, out of body experiences, sleep paralysis. All of this stuff starts to happen and you don't know why.
yes,
But
Goodness
that
gracious.
relationship, when you look at it like, well, this is an ex, like, we look at it from a natural standpoint, the movies or TV, this is a person. No, in these days with the drones and stuff, you got to understand deception and spiritual warfare, because there is a great deception happening. And the
Yeah.
narcissist was the first launch, they was the pawns. Now it go way deeper with the chemical splitting, but it's so much stuff happening now. You have to, the relationship, you have to count that as a loss. Like, that is an illusionist. They are
yes,
working for the devil, and it's
yes,
very hard for the devil to let his
Woo.
employees go that want to deceive. They want to cause pain. Like,
Well,
I've literally seen it.
look here.
They laugh when children get hurt. Like, it's just the things that they do to their
yes,
own children or nieces and nephews. Like, they want to make them trip and fall. And if they bleed, hi, look at them. Are you soft? You soft. All of
yes,
that stuff is demonic and
yes,
programming
It
that child
is.
for humiliation,
It
anxiety,
is.
fear, and stress.
And that's something that they take pride in. And that's
Yeah.
something that they do, and we don't even know it. See,
yes.
at the end of the day, y'all, you can't learn this in no classroom.
No,
Mm-mm.
Nah, you gotta either have gone through it yourself, or you get the privilege that we get tonight to listen to somebody who has gone through it, that remembered what they went through. And it was something in her spirit that she remembered that wasn't right about this.
Yeah.
And that's what made her describe it. So
Mhm.
because of the mental wavelength that we're on, the vibration that we're on, so when she's talking, I can hear it. I can hear it coming out. And then it sparked a thought, because that is something that is big, and that is femininity.
Mm.
Yeah.
When God created woman, he created woman in a way that a man cannot resist you
Mm.
unless
Mm.
she somehow isn't the way God made her. And
Mm.
how do you do that? That's what the devil is all about.
Mm.
Making sure you're not on your square.
Mhm.
And what does he do? Who is he chasing? He's chasing the children. We don't even look at it like they making clothes for your children when they're
Mhm.
babies.
Mhm.
And we don't see it. We don't see any. Everything to us is innocent.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This
But they
devil
don't see it
ain't
like
never
that.
got nothing innocent about this devil. Everything is manufactured for a reason. Everything that this devil does, it does it for an exact reason. And we
Yeah.
see the results now. We would see in our minds logically. Well, maybe some of us do think logically and can see it, but a lot of us cannot see that something as simple as changing little girls and making their clothing just a little closer to the boys' clothing.
Mhm.
Most of us don't even see that having anything to do with a woman's femininity, and it got everything to do with it. If you just push them off balance just a little bit, and see, well, we're not now, because she was able to describe it for women. We don't see it because men haven't described it yet. How men aren't the as masculine anymore.
Mhm.
So, and you gotta, and the thing is when you're looking for the truth, you're looking for the truth in both sides. You're not looking for
Mhm.
just one side to be wrong.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? You're looking at it like, nah, it ain't just that. It's definitely more factors, but that has a
Yeah.
great deal to do with it. And it's the way we see one another. It's the
Mhm.
way we interact with one another, because there's a totally different look that a man gives a woman in some tight jeans versus the look he gives a woman in a shirt.
Mhm.
It's a different look altogether. They both may be sexy and appealing, but there's something different about the woman who is in a dress. And now y'all see a woman in a dress nowadays, that's rare. Women don't really wear dress. Women wear suits just like men.
Mhm.
So it
Yeah.
gives us that same impression, and it's giving up that same energy. And subconsciously,
Mhm.
that altar is sending a signal
Mhm.
of masculinity.
Mhm.
And that
Yeah.
makes it easy. It makes it easy for men to sit back and fight and argue and go back and forth with women, because that's not what we're seeing. And we don't know that that's not what we're seeing the way we need to see it.
Mhm.
Guys, man, y'all peeling these layers back tonight in a way that I ain't ever. Oh
It,
my
it go real
goodness.
deep, but they gotta understand altars and covenants, because that
Yeah.
those have to be demolished, and it has to start being demolished even in the brain, because
We got to get
anybody
a
could
better
be.
understanding of an altar, so that everybody,
Yes.
because I'm saying, even for me,
Mhm.
when somebody says altar, in my mind, the first thing that I think of is a church.
Mhm.
You go up to the altar. I don't see it as, no, an altar is a frame, it's something that's in your mind, and it's
Yeah.
something that they're picking at you, and they're
Yes.
picking at you in a way you can't even see it.
Yes.
because it's mental, and they have weaponized language.
Yes.
Oh
Mhm.
my goodness.
That's why they call it an alter, like an alter ego and an alter. Phonics was
Mm.
made by the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians, I mean, people don't know about the Phoenicians because they don't really teach about it in history, but they were over Tyre. This is all in the Bible. Jezebel was a Phoenician priestess. So when you think about this witchcraft and these phonics and this language, and it goes to the Celtic language and all of that, how it migrated over here from like Europe and Canada and kind of came to America, they taught us a language, but the language has that double meaning. So when you say certain words, like even though we're saying that God
Right.
know our heart, we're not saying it as a curse. But when they say it, they're saying it as a curse.
Exactly.
So it's
Because of the
Ooh.
intention,
yeah,
intention
that's
behind it.
yeah, that's
Wow.
what God looks at. So when you have
Yes.
a alter ego, and all of the Hollywood stars like Sasha Fierce and Beyonce, that's her alter. She have sold out part of her soul, fragmented it, split it, so that this demon can come in and possess her vessels because they're disembodied spirits. They need a body, so they can come in and it can use her body and perform, and she can get money from it. So that's a deal she made with the devil. But the same thing happens to us when we are deceived. So that's the whole thing. A lot of people might be like, "Oh,
Ooh.
I was so stupid, you know, this and that." No, no one is ever like stupid. This We are dealing with supernatural powers. I was
But the
discerning
thing is,
in
we hear those
deliverance, but
people
still
say
got
that.
deceived.
But Keisha, we
Yeah,
hear those people say that, and we think it's cute when Beyonce say my alter ego, or one of those. If somebody's a
yeah,
celebrity, but not thinking it, yeah, that's why that celebrity is being put in front of you like that. So it's
and
acceptable,
yeah,
and we accept it, and we don't even look at it like that. We just look at it like, oh, okay, that's your alter ego. Okay,
and
Sasha
Nicki
Fierce. Okay.
Minaj talked about it with Rama. She was like, I don't like him. Y'all conjured him up. These demons are tormentors. They even torment their hosts. They're
Yeah.
nothing from the demonic kingdom is good. Nothing.
Yes.
Even if
Mm,
they give them
mm.
money, they're taking their mind, they're taking their children. They always want more. Like
Yes.
it's not just okay, you can give up a friend. No, you're gonna give up a blood relative, you're gonna give up somebody else. It's always more with Satan's kingdom. So
This is
they're
very
in
true.
torment, and that's what that is with the alter ego. But culture, because this is this language thing, means the action of, that's Latin square root, I mean the square word or the root word of a cult. So we are
Mhm.
into culture when they trained us to be participants of a cult.
Mm,
So now
mhm.
when we think of relationship, we think like, okay, we can be with this person, see how it go, live together, or however. But Satan has set up his agents, people
Yeah.
that he have trained from childhood trauma when he released like the crack drugs or did all these things back in the 80s and stuff. He trained these people up to be very wicked beings for this hour. Like some different powers was released
Ooh.
in the end times. These frogs that came out, these different spirits, that these are now end time ruler spirits that are operating through people, and they are taking people out. Like
Yeah,
Satan is coming for
yeah,
destruction. That's what
yeah.
he do, steal, kill, destroy.
And you
And
know what?
it's
And
it.
I
It's
see
like,
somebody that said that in the chat. Who was that? Arkashaw said Beyonce is a witch. Watch how all of her
mm-hmm,
stuff. She does voodoo rituals. And at the end of her performance the other night, she was on the football game at halftime. Something had everybody talking about this thing that she did at the end. That something said boom, or something that was written that she put out there. And that
mm-hmm,
absolute that's and man, you have people talking about the internet like this is Beyonce's internet, you know, and we just look at it and just think it's kind of funny or it's kind of cute or whatever.
yeah,
And we got people that's right in front of us doing rituals, and we don't even know that that's what this is. We
mm-hmm.
don't even have a clue. Wow, that's what this is. When she said that, this whole show tonight, I'm sitting here like, whoa, whoa, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. This is really how this stuff looks, guys. That's how an
and
altar
that's
looks. Not if you don't
yeah,
know how an altar looks,
Mhm.
then it doesn't affect you when you. But now, when you know that there's an association with that word, altar,
Mhm.
there's an association with that word. You'll know how to receive it.
Mm-hmm.
Guys,
And,
the duality in this language was created for those people with that forked
yeah.
tongue.
Yeah.
And the narcissist, like the question, why won't the narcissist leave you alone? It fit right into this because we have an altar for the narcissist. Until that thing is demolished and we no longer have an altar for it. So the way that altars are set up, you got tangible altars like ones that they can build like a stone or in a closet or something and put a picture there and they can go to that place. Like your closet can be an altar, anything can be an altar, like a place that they go and give worship. But with our bodies, in our minds, our thoughts, whatever we meditate on the most, that becomes our idol, our God, and we have an altar to it. So rumination is feeding the altar, it's feeding a narcissistic altar. And that has to be torn down with God, with the word of God. That's the only thing that really worked that I know of, because
Yeah.
he tell you to meditate on the word. He tell you like to take captive your thoughts. Like there are certain scriptures that he put in there that's gonna fight that spiritual stuff. But as long as like you're kind of like thinking about it, or what can I do, or you're figuring out this way, or talking to them, really talking to them is directly like tearing your soul up, because when they speak, those demons can just transfer right into them ear
Yeah.
gates. But when you doing all of this stuff and constantly thinking about them or what happened and everything, you feeding the altar in your mind. So it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
hard to tear it down because
Yeah.
it's being fed. And so that narcissist gonna come back around because them demons in him know what they deposited in you. So they know,
That's
they can
right.
feel that in the spirit. It's gonna be a
That's
pull.
right.
If you start
That's
getting
right.
healed and slipping away, they gotta go and reinforce that altar, because Satan trying to have as many
Whew.
people destroyed as possible in these end times, and the narcissist is a tool to do it. They
Wow,
want to
man.
serve them.
And
We have
to
to heal.
re-engage you, they either offer you more food, or
Yeah,
perhaps they want something they want you to exchange something. So sometimes they will also
Wow.
say, "Oh, I bought you this
Wow.
lovely dress. I
yeah.
bought
Wow.
you these lovely shoes. I
They
bought you
always
a
feeding
gift."
you.
Woo.
If
They
you
always
Man,
notice,
you
feeding you.
anytime
listen.
you get in an
Y'all got me
argument, you ready to
scared when y'all
leave.
talk about
Let's
that
go out to
food.
eat. Let's go
Y'all
Let's
got
say
eat.
me
yes.
scared,
You
man.
ain't
They're
supposed to
always
eat
feeding
with
you.
them. Yep.
Y'all
But
got me scared in
another
here,
thing I've
man.
noticed as well is that every time you also give them something. So like let's say they ask you for money and you give
Mm-hmm.
them money, they can offer that money to the altar.
Mm-hmm.
So you will be regressing financially, you'll be struggling financially because that money is being fed to demons. So you'll
Mm-hmm.
be regressing. Every time you give them money, you'll be going back in terms of your lifestyle, whatever you're doing,
Yeah.
you'll be decreasing and they'll be increasing. They'll be going up, either in the spirit realm or physically. Because remember, in the spirit realm,
Wow.
every time they hurt a child of God, they get some sort of promotion, they get
Yeah.
some sort of reward.
Wow.
Yep.
Hey, y'all getting it straight tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Good. How
That's
do you
how it
pronounce your
works.
name again? Because I know I murdered your name when I brought you in, but how do you pronounce your name?
Harriet Boatin. Boatin is like, it's like Smith in Ghana. It's very
Okay.
common in Ghana. Yeah,
Boatin. Okay.
Boatin.
Okay.
Mhm.
Boatin.
Whoo, you're gonna have to come back in here and cook with us another night, because my goodness,
But
man,
for me,
it's like,
that's all I have, and I feel as though the more I ponder on it and I think about it, the more God opens my eyes to things even
mm-hmm,
happening around me, things that are not even related to me. The other day, I was watching a program. I think it's an American program, and I'm not going to say exactly what it entails, but basically, it's a program. I Am Jazz. It's a young lady who has decided to become a man, and with
Mhm.
this young lady, the mother was dressing him up as a girl when he
Mhm.
was very, very young. And then when he grew up, decided to transition. That
See,
boy will
mothers.
never become a father. That boy
Mhm.
will never
man, you
become
got to be
anything
a devil.
that
You got to
God
be a
has.
devil to think like that. See, And we
Yeah.
just think that it's something innocent. We don't look at something like the way you clothe someone,
Yeah.
how a child
Yeah.
has the way they receive clothing.
Mhm.
We don't see it as being that big of a deal.
But it's your intention behind it. So if,
There
like,
you
let's
go.
say
There you
I
go.
put a GI Joe toy to give a GI Joe toy to my daughter, right? If my
Mm-hmm.
intentions are good, nothing is going to come of it. But if the child is attached to an altar, I can
Mhm.
keep giving her those toys. And on top of it, do what we call positive reinforcement. So every time that child acts the way I want him to act, i.e., a girl, if he's a boy and every time she acts like a girl, I'm going to give him sweets. I'm going to, oh, well done. You wore those Barbie shoes. Oh, well done. You did
Right.
this. Oh,
Mhm.
well done. Well, you did that. That is exciting what's it called? The altar, which is
Yeah.
planted in the child's life. And when you watch even this show, the boy says that he loves the mermaid. He doesn't know why. He loves mermaid. And I just automatically thought this is the marine kingdom.
Yep.
This
That's
boy
the
has
root
been
of it.
sacrificed to the marine kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And they are
Man,
putting it
It's a
right in
man,
front
oh
of us.
man.
all of it. And
Yeah.
when
Ladies
and
and
you said
gentlemen.
something there like with intentional, that's what happened. Like with the narcissist, from the point of time that they meet you, every deception is intentional. They
Yes.
think about everything, they think of the desired action that they need for you to do and the behavior and the words that it's going to take for you to do that. So
Yes.
it's the plotting, the iniquity in the heart, the evil thinking that's behind it that makes them so wicked, that make it a little bit different from somebody that's not having this narcissistic demon possess them, because
Yeah.
they're wanting to deceive you. Like they really sit there and they think, they consult with their little demon crew and they think, what do I have to say to get this person? I need them to cry at this
Yes.
moment, because if they cry, then I know that I have them and I can ask them for this. Or if I jump out the car and they chase me, I know that I can have them do this. Like they're
Yes.
always thinking of how they can manipulate your
Yes.
emotions, and that's what make it witchcraft:
Yes.
manipulation, intimidation, domination, and they're
Yes.
very crafty with
Man,
their
and you know
words.
what? And I'm gonna
Yes.
tell you, I also believe that because of the way, well, I'm gonna say this in comparison. You look at the US versus let's say a country like Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
In Dubai, they have very, very strict guidelines on the way a woman can dress.
Mm.
And you notice how their country doesn't have the deviance, the sexual deviance that we have.
Yeah.
And we looking at it like, nah, it's something in the water. Nah, it's something in this, it's something in that. And which it might be. It very well may be. But what we're not looking at is, wow, the women who are raised wearing dresses versus the ones that are not. And that's also confusing to boys.
Mm-hmm.
Because if she got on pants and you got on pants, then we not really different.
Mm-hmm.
When you are really young, think like a 5-year-old. They don't know what's going on yet, because a girl isn't developed at that age. But if they dress the same, he doesn't really see himself differently than her. If she doesn't have something that identifies her,
Mm-hmm.
and usually we can identify one another through our clothing because we wear clothing. If we was naked, we would know what is what. But when you're very, very young, when you're 3 years old and you're in the nursery, all the way up to the point where you get in grade school, you don't really see a difference in the way y'all dress.
Mm.
And that might cause little boys to say, well, I might be a little girl too.
Mm-hmm.
Because we dress the same, we kind of look the same.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
Yes, man, the deviancy that we don't see, ladies and gentlemen. We breaking through some barriers here tonight. Let me get to my girl Autumn Marie. Mwah. Thanks for that super chat. She said, the ex-narc said, I'll show you how evil, demonic I can be. Whew, thank you, God. I am no longer with that rodent. It's been almost 2 years of no contact. Now I am happy in a new relationship, and I am now expecting. Well, congratulations,
Wow,
Miss
congrats.
Baxter. How you doing? All right. You got to let us see the little cutie. You're going to have to post it up, when the little baby gets here. That's right. God is good every
God is
time.
good.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yes, and man, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all, man, tonight, boy, we broke down some walls in here tonight. I,
Yes.
I must say, goodness gracious, just little things that are brought to the
Mhm.
surface. I don't know, man. I know I'm the only one that's really tripping this hard about the clothing. But, oh my gosh,
It's
man.
the intense
but
too
the thing
behind it.
with narcissistic mothers and fathers is sometimes they, because my mother never went past, I think, sixth grade, but in terms of psychology and how to manipulate,
Mhm.
she's above a professor level.
Yeah.
Very good. Very, because when I sit down and analyze the things that she does, and the thing is, it's not just me in the family. She does it to her brothers, she does
Mhm.
it to her nieces. So the demon in her wants to destroy not just her children, it wants to destroy the family at large. And it's
Type it.
usually the people who, let's say, are very successful or very, let's say, successful in academia are the ones that she wants to destroy.
Mhm.
Mm,
And it's very subtle. It's like raising the little ones up. Like, no, don't ask them for $5. Only ask them for two. You're more likely to get $2 than $5.
Yeah,
It's like teaching little things that to be able to get the people to do that. And it's usually they do it a lot with the females. Like the
yeah,
mothers will train their daughters. Like,
yeah,
no, you need to ask the uncle for like $3, and then ask that one for $3. And by the end of the day, you'll have $20 and can go to the store and then give me 10 of it. Like, that's how
mm,
they'll do. And they'll say wear this or do this or seduce this
mhm.
way. They teach you how to be, either they gonna, it depend on whatever their instructions are, whatever they didn't got with the demons, but they either gonna teach you to be a harlot or a
yeah,
whore, like dress provocative or however, and be
Right.
with this guy. If you want to ride, make sure you get somebody with a car. That's what you need to say. Or they're going to teach you how to be masculine, or try to go the other way depending on what their instructions are.
yeah,
But it's all witchcraft, and it's never in your best interest. And you
yeah,
would think like, well, I love this person, I do whatever I do for that person, because as a child, that mother is supposed to be that nurturer. But when
yeah,
you think about, even with the narcissist, it happens with them too. Like the narcissistic men, their mothers like gave them over to the wolves. A lot of them allowed
Mhm.
their boyfriends and them to do stuff to them, allowed different ones to abuse them as a child. This is stuff that they're this is a generational occult witchcraft curse thing that has come upon this land. Like, when you get
mhm,
with them, you dealing with a whole altar to Satan.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it-
And
it's
you
for
know
your
what?
destruction. Like, you have to. I would not recommend anybody to stay with one. Like, if they are a
Mm-mm.
narcissist and you know that, and things on this channel is making sense, then I would not recommend it, because your life is on the line. Your soul
absolutely.
is on the
Man.
line. Your
And
children's
you don't
life
know it.
on the
But the thing
line.
is, they don't know to what level. They don't know to what degree. They just hear us saying it. They
Hmm.
don't really see that. No, no, no. Your life really is on the line.
Yeah,
It's somebody who
Like,
wants your life.
you have
You
to
just
think
don't
the
see how
children,
they
like,
gonna get it.
how
mm,
many children have been diagnosed with depression, just in our chat, like
Mm,
with somebody who was in a narcissistic situation.
come
All
on.
of a sudden your children are being diagnosed with depression or bipolar or oppositional defiant disorder, or somehow they're in the mental system in some way. Either the school calling and want to see like the social psychiatrist in the school. Like, this madness, it strikes the children. They start behaving different, but we pick it up as, oh, they just acting out, and then the narcissist like do something with the child. No, the demons that they bring at
Yes.
night, they go into them kids' bedrooms. They going to
Yes.
torment the children. It's a
Yes.
covenant involved. Once they
Yes.
You
either
know
have
something?
intercourse or a license signed, that is
Yes.
free access to your bloodline to destroy it.
Yes.
That's
You
what
know
Yes.
they do.
what? And you know what?
Yes.
I was looking at a video earlier today, and it was a YouTube video, and the lady was talking about she was talking about TikTok and teachers on TikTok. She was like, man, y'all need to go over there and listen. All the teachers are saying the same thing. You can't teach these children. They're not even
Mhm.
teachable, and they just throwing in their hands everything now. These children are under mind control, man, and
Yeah.
and it's like, and it's in a way where we're not able to see, why they are in such a condition. We have an idea about it because yeah, they getting plenty of help from drugs and social media, no
Mhm.
question, but there is a subtle reason that all of us can't see yet.
Mhm.
There's a
Mm.
very subtle reason, and to me, it's all about control and being in control and not being controllable.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that's what they learn from being around a narcissist. A
Yeah.
narcissist is always going to have you or always be in a situation where they're not controllable. And
Mm.
they brag about that. That's their claim to fame. That, oh no, nobody's gonna control me. I'm
Yeah.
my own person. I'm doing me, and nobody's gonna have control. And they show it in their relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no control,
They
and we've
always
been
pick an
taught.
Ahab spirited man as well. So
Say that
a
again.
very docile man, an Ahab, a man with an Ahab spirit,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and who they can
Yeah.
control, and
Yeah.
Right.
then they get into a relationship that way, and that's for a long term. I think for a shorter term, most men are not going to cannot stand narcissistic women, but
No.
sometimes they pick men who, and that Ahab spirit, I don't mean in a negative way. It's they literally get the good guy.
Yeah.
Seriously,
But they want
narcissistic
them to be
women
submissive
literally get
and
the good guy,
passive, and
and
the Ahab, like if they're submissive and passive, but they will compromise for that Jezebel. So they
yeah,
need a
Yes.
co-conspirator.
yeah,
And that person, like even my niece, I was like, well, they might go somewhere. Her boyfriend was like, oh, can I go? She's like, no. Well, maybe I'll think about it. But that's how they're trained to talk to their guys, because
That's
that's
right.
how my sister talked to her husband. Like this is generational,
Mm-hmm.
just generational Jezebel witchcraft
There you
stuff.
go.
And
There you
it's
go.
terrible. And the men are put down, they're cut down. If they ever do anything, either the grandmother, the mother, somebody's going to tear them down and try to tear down their manhood to where they feel terrible about themselves. They'll be like, oh, I don't like them. I don't know who they think they are. And they'll get the whole family to turn on that person. One of them was my
Yeah.
older son, who actually is a responsible man. It's like, well, who do they think they are that they can talk to somebody like this? And that's what happens in these families, because they want that altar wherever that covenant was made, probably great grandparents or however, it wants that sacrifice of the whole family.
yeah.
It want all
Ooh,
of them
man.
destroyed.
Wow, man.
And if they
And
got
it's
some
sometimes
looks and some bodies, they need those bodies, because Satan feel like he didn't invested in that shape. You need to seduce and destroy as many people as you
There you
can,
go.
and
That's
then
right.
they're going to destroy you.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
And that's exactly
And
how it
sometimes
works.
it could just be a pact with Satan, because I think that's what my mother did. It could be a pact with Satan just to get that guy. And when
Hmm.
they get that
Mm-hmm.
guy, because they wanted to be with that successful guy, and when they get with that successful guy, the next pact in the contract is for them to then sacrifice their own child
Mm.
Hmm.
or sacrifice the guy that they're with. So sacrifice
Hmm.
their own child, and the relationship, because it's a love spell, it doesn't work. So my
Yeah.
parents broke up anyway because my dad was actually a married man when he met my mom. So my mom was a side chick who did voodoo, got him, and he broke up with her anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
Mm-hmm.
used for the next to get the next guy.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. And they do
Man.
that
When
now.
I
Like
grew
the
up,
mothers do that now. They will throw their children to the fire for that man. Like they
yeah,
said, I got a man attitude.
Yes.
Even
Yes.
though they don't like the man, but they will throw their children away for that man.
I've heard some different stories of mothers that sacrificed their daughter
yeah,
to keep the man.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. It's some sick individuals out here, y'all.
yes.
Yes.
Wow. Well, we're gonna do this again. We're
Yeah.
gonna do this again, y'all.
Because I'm glad she's able
I
to
just
bring
listen,
in practices from
I
the
gotta
East
absorb
because
all this.
the West don't know this stuff. Like this is
Yeah,
stuff that we can talk about because experiencing it, but the West is they don't know it. Like they don't
Yeah,
know about this water kingdom and how it really
man.
go down when somebody dedicates you to the marine kingdom and
yeah,
you being taken out
Woo.
of your body and going there. They don't know this. They just know like
yeah.
okay, I have nightmares here and there. Oh, the
I have
narcissist
nightmares
came and
about
did this.
Ariel, and they will say that they will have nightmares about Ariel, or they will have
Mm-hmm.
nightmares about Little Mermaid, not
Mm-hmm.
thinking that if you are, let's say, a healthcare, because I work in healthcare, and sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you meet some of these mothers, and when they come in, sometimes they come in with children with eating disorders,
Mm-hmm.
or they come in with these rainbow children. The eating disorder one is almost like we had one that was 25 years old. She came in, she acts like a 12-year-old, and the mother adds to it by buying her like Barbie. And I'm just like, this girl is 25, but she's bought her Barbie, every little pink thing he's bought for her daughter. And
Yeah.
she came in because she had what we call gastroparesis. So gastroparesis is when the food does not go down the intestine properly. So what we need to do is we fed her through a tube. It's called nasogastric tube into the stomach. We put the tube in. This girl has a body mass index of 11. She looks like a skeleton. So after we put this tube down into her stomach, we were like, okay, we'll get you a psychiatric help because we think you have an eating disorder. Rather than the mother get on board with the healthcare providers, the mother said no, she doesn't think her daughter has an eating disorder.
And when her daughter
Initially,
look in the mirror, the demons can alter her vision to where she see plumpness. She
yes,
don't see the skeleton.
she said my daughter doesn't have an eating disorder. What do you mean? You are you and then she said she accused healthcare workers of projecting onto the daughter. And we're like, no, she does have a person with a BMI of 11 has an eating disorder. She said no,
Yeah.
she doesn't have an eating disorder.
Woo.
So what we did
Her
was
body
we've
mass
given her
index
the
was
tube.
11.
Yeah, we've given her the tube.
Mm.
We discharged her home. So then the dietitians can go home to feed her through the tube. Mentally, she's still going to be at the same place.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mentally, she's still going to be tormented by the demons. And sometimes when you meet these women, these mothers, they like the fact that the child is sick.
Mhm.
They love the fact that they get attention from the sick child.
Yeah.
They love all of that. They love all that drama. Oh, my child is unwell. I was in hospital. They love all of that.
Mhm.
And I think there's a name for it. It's called fictitious by proxy. It used to be called Munchausen syndrome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fictitious by proxy are mothers who actually enjoy seeing their children become unwell. And with
Wow.
fictitious by proxy, when untreated, eventually they become borderlines and narcissistic
Yep.
Mm.
because it's all about them. Yeah, it's
Yep.
all about them. So essentially, if they continue that way, they become witches. And eventually, that
Ooh.
child is probably going to die. Or if she gets better and she realizes that her mother is the main culprit in her ailment, she's probably going to cut her mother off.
Right.
But it be such a demonic connection. Like my sister
Yeah,
have like MS and my mom. It's like such a demonic
It's like
connection of
an
catering. Like,
enmeshment.
yeah, they have to, like, it feeds each other. Like you would
Yes,
say, like, do you want to be healed? But it's like, no, that's not it. Da, 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 da. But because of the attention that both can get from feeding each other with the
Mm,
sickness and all of that stuff, it
yeah,
keeps the demons fed. And so that, and it keeps them the center of attention with the family.
yeah,
That's how Satan roll. That Jezebel spirit is just, it's gonna dominate in that. So they want to have, infirmity comes with it, whether it's cancer or MS or some autoimmune. That's the torment the enemy give, because they hate humans, so they're going to torment them. But it also is so that the other family members can not be included in that demonic union. Like, it's
mhm,
always like they have their own little circle, and then they
yeah,
can do like different wicked stuff, but it keeps the other family members kind of on the outskirts, trying to get in good graces with the mother.
yeah,
It's crazy. But
yeah,
that's the root of
yeah,
when people be like, how did I get in this relationship?
mm,
You got to start evaluating that family. You got to take a deeper look, and you got
yes,
to ask God to help you look, because when you
yes,
deception, you believe a part of it. That's how
yes,
people get deceived. Part of it seemed true, even with the
yes,
narcissist. Even very intelligent people, when they say they fell in love with the potential, that potential seemed true, and
yes,
because that potential was believed by the person, we got deceived. So we
yes,
got with a trickster, and then
yes,
next thing you know,
mm,
we got spider webs all in our brains and all that stuff in the Lululand, and hopefully can get out of the Lululand, because some
yeah,
people don't really make it out. That's a scary thing.
yeah. That's the sad. That's absolutely sad thing.
yeah.
Some people don't make it out. It's really sad. And sometimes also, what some parents or mothers or fathers try to do is, if they feel they cannot really bring down that child, they try to initiate them into the occult. So they will
Mhm.
give them ideas,
Mm-hmm.
if you're struggling in this aspect of your life, I can teach you these meditation, or perhaps maybe I can take you to this church, or perhaps I can take you to this root worker who can, make things better for you. But really, what they're doing is that they are initiating the child to solve a problem which they caused in the first place.
Mhm.
Mm, mm, mm.
So yeah,
We doing this
You
again,
don't
y'all. We
see.
gonna do this again. Cause see, y'all just cutting into so many different areas, man. Y'all just opening so many different things up. And this topic is just too big for us to just brush through that this way. No, we are not. Because it's so much detailed information, especially the roots, the witchcraft,
mm,
Yeah.
that part. And see, I like the way both of you are describing it, because that gives people a plain view at what witchcraft looks like. See, we
yeah,
always were taught that witchcraft is, a lady with a big wart on her nose, and she
Mhm.
got this big hat, and she got a black suit on, and she got this big pot, you know.
mm,
She travel around on her broomstick or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
We really not taught about what a witch really looks and acts like,
yeah,
and how they're able to get into our life, or how they're in our lives, and we don't even know how these
Mhm.
people groom us, and we just have these assumptions. Well, this is my mother, so they not, my mother ain't gonna do X, Y, and Z. Oh yes, your mother
yeah,
is. And then we don't want to just attack any one side. So the one thing that you can't do is attack mothers out here. You can't do
mm,
that.
no,
You
Yeah.
cannot do that. So it's hidden in a way. It's hidden in a way where you're almost scared to approach it, to deal with it. But we are going to continue to approach
Especially the men. The men. Oh my gosh! Because my brother, when my brother go through things, I'm like, you've been bewitched. Like the men, because of the appearance that a woman can have, if they
it. Right.
are in this at all on some level. They can put on a certain lotion, a certain
Mm,
fragrance. Things are
that's
given
right.
to them that
Yeah.
can bewitch a man,
That's
and they
right.
will lead their entire family. They won't even know why. They won't even know why they have such an attraction to this person, because
Mm-hmm.
every now and then glimpses of reality might come forward, but then they might, do the sex magic or something, or have something
There you
done to
go.
them, and then they
There you go.
bewitched again. Like, you
Yeah.
have stores that literally do witchcraft treatments to women's genital areas to
Mhm.
seduce and entrap a man. Like,
Yeah.
they literally have a
I've
store
heard
for
of
that.
somebody, I've heard this new thing. I forgot what it was called, but it's something that a woman puts her vaginal secretions, is what we'll call it,
Mm.
and puts it on like it's perfume, like behind
Hmm.
her ear, on the neck, to attract men.
Pure Romance have that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
that was designed by witches, and it can it's
Wow.
all they do that. But then those procedures, like, literally, and the men, they end up getting infirmities, they be sick, start getting diabetes,
Yes.
high blood pressure. They don't even
Yes.
know why they falling apart, but they
Yeah.
so obsessed with a girl. Well, the girl went to the
Mm.
store with the lady that did the treatments, with the vajayjay treatments, and they do crystals and all of that. And because she's a high level witch, she said once you do the treatment, that man will never leave you. But they can't stand the man because the curse always backfire. It's not
Yeah.
like happy in love.
So
It's
that's the
like they
promise.
hate this man that never leaves them. Then they start cheating on this man, and then the
Yeah.
man goes biggity boo, and next thing you know, his whole life is destroyed. That's what that stuff do, and these stores
Wow.
are popping up all over the place. So
Yeah.
men
Wow.
don't even what's hitting them now, they have to be very careful because people can be very, very attractive. Very, the ones that
Hmm.
have like this bloodline now, that they didn't, there's some mixed bloodline involved too, some Nephilim bloodline, some of that stuff. Those are some of the most beautiful people you can ever see. A lot of them in Hollywood.
Yeah.
That stuff right there will take your entire soul, like, quickly, quickly.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow, man.
You'll see it on
Yeah.
there. A lot of the
Yeah.
ones, like, not existing anymore. They get with somebody. You see the relationship.
Woo.
One of them, the Nipsey got. He was in a relationship, wasn't existing anymore. They get with these exotic people, and the wealth is transferred, but then
Yeah.
they take their life.
There you
Yeah.
It's
go.
not worth it, and
There
men
you
are
go.
not prepared if they only looking on the outside,
That's
or
it.
if they only looking at, hey
That's it.
babe,
There
I
you
cook for
go.
you, sweetie, because they
There you
real
go.
flattering. They will flatter. You got to give it some time, and the minute you see the witch come out, you got to trust that. You got to trust that's what you
That
saw.
part.
Like,
That part.
That's
See, and
that's
that's
why when
where
you
we go into it just believing it. Oh no, no. And then we also go into it ready to overlook the witch that
mhm.
we see because hey, she making me feel good though.
Yeah.
She's making me feel
yeah,
good. And
Yeah.
we not looking at the consequence that comes with that.
yeah,
How do they treat that
Wow,
waitress, or
man.
how do they treat that waiter when you go out? How do they act, when you out to other people, not just you, but the other people? Because a lot of times they're like, oh, something was wrong with my food. I don't want that. I don't know. They manifest. And
yeah,
so the manifestations you cannot overlook, because that rudeness will come out. Might not come out in the first couple weeks if they trying real hard to keep that mask on. But if you
yeah,
give it some time, you're gonna see it come out in some other areas, usually towards working staff.
yeah. And also, I think
Ooh.
they manifest when, like, let's say, they use root work to get the guy, but if the guy becomes unwell or needs to depend on them in any way, i.e.,
Mhm.
maybe he lost his job and depends on her, or
Mhm.
perhaps he becomes unwell and perhaps maybe needs emotional support. Why do you need emotional support for? You're always sick. She would treat him very badly. Probably
Mhm.
wouldn't stay at home to nurse him. She would just get up and go to work. Because
Yep.
for her, the idea of even spending time with him disgusted her.
Yep.
Well, again,
And then on top of it, the child that comes out of it, they would then use that child to do whatever. It depends on what the demon or the altar wants. The
Mhm.
demon may want the man to be unalived, or their child, to put their child through like a slow, gradual sacrifice
Yeah,
where that child will have a terrible life. And this is what
that's
they do.
that's
Well,
how it works. It
there you
works
go.
just like that. And a child will have catastrophe. They are very selective on who they
Yes,
breed with. Because a lot of
yes,
times they might just get rid of the pregnancy. I mean, secrets come out, but they're very selective on who they choose to carry that one through because that was an assignment on that person. Like
yes,
either they were financial security for them, they had
yeah,
they was gonna take their pension. Like I'll marry them 10 years, get some of that pension to survive. Like they only think about things that's in the marine kingdom, which includes mammon, money. So they think about riches, success. What can this one do for me? Like that's all how their programming is.
yes,
You gotta look for those signs. When you see that, you gotta trust yourself. That's what you saw.
yeah.
Eyes
Mm,
go
mm,
black,
mm.
reptilian, reptilian blink.
Man, oh man, gosh, y'all just open up some different situations in here, some different avenues, some different ways we're gonna go at this narcissist and continue to uncover. Because it ain't
With them
often.
drones, if
It
they
ain't
flicker,
often. Listen,
you
it
got
ain't
some
often
drones up
that
there.
I'm just in awe.
Sometimes I wonder if they have more of the Nephilim gene, and therefore this is what's causing their reprobate mind, because you can try it and reason with them to kind of get them to repent. Like my mother, for example, I was trying to get her to see the error of her ways, tried to get her to repent. She didn't want to have anything to do with it. Just change the subject.
Mm-hmm.
You try to get them to repent, and it almost doesn't register.
They
And
can change their gene. So with all of this genetic stuff happening now, and they putting stuff in the atmosphere, this nano stuff, if a person has like an occult background in them or the occult in them, so they might have some, it's a dark substance that literally can come out in deliverance. If
mm,
that is in them, the stuff that is on the outside can stick to that. Like they're more likely to be able to have something permanently change or that can only be reversed by God in their DNA, like inscribed. That was that whole epigenetics
mm,
thing where they were now saying after they studied the genome and the DNA, now
Right?
there is something supernatural that influences the inscription of the DNA. That's the
Mm,
spirit realm. So when they constantly give themselves over to Satan and they start to be more indoctrinated in that reptilian or witchcraft, yes, their DNA can start changing to be similar to how that Nephilim DNA is, because that iniquity starts to really unravel and inscribe in their DNA, and they parts of their brain, like our frontal lobe or with synapse, and we have our reasoning and thinking, that starts to go away. Like their
it,
brain, they literally
it
have
completely
brain
does.
changes on the scan, and they start thinking more
y'all
with the
on the side,
reptilian part of their
y'all
brain.
just going in.
Mm.
You just showing off right now. That's all. You just showing off tonight.
Yeah,
No,
I
that's
can.
literally what
Yeah,
happened. I had that question. I was like, I wonder if the DNA can be changed to like similar to how they are putting in third strand DNAs now. I wonder if
yeah,
that can be changed through behavior and psychologically. And yes, it can. It can
yeah,
be changed and it can
Yeah.
be transferred to your generation, to your offspring.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
Wow.
some stuff. Because
That
you
Wow.
is some stuff.
sometimes your parent, you like, I know my parent ain't a mermaid because I'm
Yeah,
not a mermaid, but they
yeah,
acting mermaidish, like having
yeah,
babies.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You like something up.
Yeah, yeah. But then
Give it
that
to
Oh
them
my
makes
for
a lot
goodness.
of
emotion.
sense. That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense because in the book of Revelation, it talks about
Mhm.
man receiving a chip and not being able to buy, because you cannot buy or sell without it or something like that. But
Hmm.
that chip also changes your DNA as well. I think
That
on
can
your
change your
forehead.
DNA too, and that's permanent. But that's
Yes,
what they're doing now, computer wise, like
with
biotech. But they
transhumanism.
also can psychologically do it, chemically do it. Like these are things that can happen, but some things are reversible. But once the chip come in, it's already acting with something that's in a person, and
Yes.
a person is permanently dissociated. So
Yes.
that's why they can't repent, because they're not there. It's a movie called Severed. That movie Severed on Prime, it's like a series. It
Mhm.
shows similar to what will happen with that. Like they will have a completely them for work and a completely them for outside. That's a split of the consciousness. That's
Mm,
what they're doing now. That's why this is so dangerous. And people got to get away from the narc and get in their right mind, because they trying to emotionally split people. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
they
yeah,
trying to have something permanently
yeah,
go there.
And
yeah.
the thing
Trying
with
to get out of Delulu.
the knock is too far gone.
They gone,
There's no,
gone.
you try to explain, like I said, you try to explain, nothing works. It's all, and
Mhm.
sometimes it feels like you're reasoning with a child, like
Yeah.
an 8-year old.
They're disagreeable on purpose.
And they'll tell you, like, I pray, I
Oh,
do this, and you think I don't do. They'll argue with you and everything, but they're fruit. So you can't believe a narcissist, because it's a deceiving spirit. They're lying. They're liars. So they're going to lie. They're not going to tell the truth. I don't even know if they know how to tell the truth. If they had a choice and the truth can get them out of something, they still would lie and take the trouble. But you
My
gotta understand,
Lord.
like they're deceivers and liars, and whatever they gave up, it's gonna take like a road to Damascus event. But that's something we can't give. We just got to get out the way, because I mean, if they
Yeah.
glitch, because you got the drones and you look over and somebody glitching, that should be that
Hey,
sign.
teacher. So Linda Rose asked the question: do you think that blood types are also have something to do with our makeup?
I don't, not so much, because everybody's blood everybody's blood has been contaminated in some way, like, from the Samaritan, like from
Right,
all the
right.
tribes that they go into that. And
yeah,
everybody need to be born again. You need new blood anyway. That's why, Jesus died, and you get his blood and change to his image. However, there are some people, they might, the blood type might not register quite how ours register, but there are some people that are Nephilim or hybrid that is
yeah,
amongst us. Like there
yeah,
was a person that I talked to, his mother-in-law was actually a mermaid. Like that's some stuff, but
yeah,
that's some real stuff.
Mm,
And
yeah,
they're over there in Europe, where they will be. So
yeah.
they in a position where they will be in that position. So there's
Mm,
some breeding and things that has happened, but
mm-hmm.
their DNA, it won't be like human interacting like we doing. A lot of the people now, like if somebody is deep into sorcery and say they want to be a mermaid or want to go to the marine kingdom, they do all of these acts and they kind of can transition to that. That's more likely what you might be dealing with on our level, like interacting day to day.
Right, right.
Somebody who had a change in their DNA, which make them more wicked or reprobate. But as far as like, if you get approached by a whole mermaid, I don't know. I don't know.
I think, I think, I think they walk. I think they
Level
walk among us.
of
I
getting the
think,
water.
I think they
Absolutely,
walk
they
among
do.
They
us.
do.
I
We
think
gotta
not
stay
all
Absolutely.
mermaid.
protected.
I don't think all mermaids are, let's say, fish from the bottom. I think there are some
Right,
bipedal mermaids
right. There
Yeah.
you go. They
They
get
and
got
when they
some
give us
that's
an
like they
image,
got
because that's the
legs
first
and
thing that your mind is going to receive is
yes,
the
mhm.
image. When you hear a word, the first thing that your brain does is it wants to see an image. It wants to show you an image. It wants to give
yeah,
you a reference. And
yeah,
as
Mhm.
long as they can keep you off key with
yeah,
what a real mermaid or demon, witch, warlock, as long as they can keep you in the blind,
yeah,
then you won't see this person that looks just like you.
yeah,
Yeah. But they gotta tell you. So that's the thing. The ones that be with the, like, it's been people that's been with mermaids, like they actually married them and everything. Like when if they approach them, they gotta tell you like, I'm a mermaid, and you gotta be in a agreement and a covenant with that thing. So
because they need
don't
your
make a
consent.
covenant with it. Don't think they're ever friendly, because they're never friendly. If there's sirens, like usually the sirens are singing, that we see them on the screen all the time, but we just have to understand that this evil has materialized. So we have
Ooh.
to really get with God and trust our what He gives us, because He do talk to our human spirit, His spirit. And when something is off, it's off. If you out, if you still going out and at the club or anything, and people's faces is shifting, that's they like to hang out there because they love one night stands. They get souls.
Yeah.
Trust that you seen their face shift and do some
Ooh,
stuff.
man.
Don't
Y'all,
sit
you
there
know
and think
what?
like
You know
maybe I'm
what?
just tipsy. Like,
Man, listen, we got so many interesting comments and questions in the chat tonight. Man, guys, yeah, so we're gonna revisit this whole program phase by phase, y'all.
yeah,
This tonight was truly a blessing. This was a blessing. Y'all blessed me in here tonight. That's
Yeah.
how I'm walking out of this
It's a
show
blessing for me as
tonight,
well.
yeah.
because it's just opening so many doors. We're gonna have next weekend, next Friday, we're gonna be talking about witchcraft in the new year. It's gonna be the new year, and we're gonna be talking about witchcraft in the new year, because it's so much. It's so much that we don't know about. So many things that so many people don't know about that other people do know about.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to get to that. Okay. Harriet, thank you for coming in. Listen, hit my inbox on Instagram, or you on Instagram or Facebook?
I'm on yeah, I'm on Instagram.
Yeah, inbox me on
Yeah.
Instagram. Okay,
Okay.
inbox me. Hey Keisha, what you gonna leave them with tonight? What we leaving them with? Give them
I'm gonna
something.
leave them with even though we did say some deep, deep things,
Good
woo, we
God.
did.
Good God.
There is a
Yes,
blood
Lord.
that
Yes, Lord.
supersedes any of this contaminated blood out here, and that's Jesus' blood. Like, we really got to be honest about what we're dealing with, because you got a lot of stuff happening now where they are really letting the demonic just be forefront. A lot of deception happening. Can't believe all the things that's out there, because the devil runs the media. It's like a medium, and psychics
Yeah.
use mediums. So understand that
Yeah.
when he do medium, remote control, all of this stuff has language programming. He wants to
Mm.
remotely control you to be a
Ooh,
certain
that's deep.
way through the media, to be fearful. So the blood that we have to, when we born again and our we are transfused with Christ, we all need it. And so that blood supersedes all of this contaminated blood, and it does look different under a microscope. There are things attached to it that it's not, it's like a, it's hard to describe. It look like a black glob, but there's some things attached to some DNA that's not totally human. So we can see that under a microscope and stuff, but everybody, trust your spirit. If you walking with God, He's going to warn you about somebody. We all had warnings
Mm.
about the narcissist. We
That's
just
right.
ignored them. We knew that something was not right, but He still was merciful and gracious and got us out of it. We just have to choose to stay out of it. We can't lie and
Mm.
deceive ourselves and think that
That
this
part.
person has somehow changed and got all of these legions of demons out of their body in like 2 weeks. That's impossible. They need a whole Damascus event and probably 10 years of deliverance, because they probably was dedicated to Satan at a young age and don't even know it. So it's a lot of things that come with that. We just have to dethrone the altar of them in our brain. Get out of fantasy. They operate in the realm of fantasy, the fantasy of that
Mm.
that marriage or that home or that happy family, or both of the parents being there, and nothing's going to be like the family that I used to have. Dethrone that. That's an altar. That's an altar of fantasy. Dethrone your
Mm.
other idols of not being worthy enough, having a rejection. What do I do now that I'm older? Those are all altars of rejection, and it gets you into idolatry. So dethrone that stuff.
Wow.
Block and ignore those phone calls, and don't let the narcissist speak. When they speak, it's like
Yes.
you can even smell it. You can
It's
smell the
poison.
it's poison, and it's going
Yeah.
into your mind, and
It's
it's going to
poison for
try
the
to create
soul.
like a mind binding chain.
Yes.
So they
Whew.
won't leave you alone, because there's a throne that you got to dethrone.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to leave with.
Whew.
Amen. Amen.
Hey,
Amen. Keisha, that
amen.
really blessed me. Thank you so much. That was
Thank
really
you, Harry. Harry,
that
what
was
you gonna
for
leave
me.
with? What you gonna leave us with tonight? At the end of the night, because you gave us so much, so many jewels tonight. Leave us with something for the weekend that we
I'll
can
just
chomp
say
on.
that the same thing. I'll just echo what Keisha has been saying. I would say cast all your cares onto God. Every time when you say you decide to go no contact, that no contact, try your hardest to stick with it. Every time they come into your mind, remember that's part of the spiritual warfare. Cast it away. Fill your head with the word of God. Learn some scriptures. Fill your head with the word of God. Start
Mm,
singing your soul. Start getting your spirit man to start singing the word of God. Take
come
your
on.
mind off it. And you find that the more you practice it, the more you forget about the narcissist. And do
Mhm.
that on a daily and a regular basis. And by the time you realize you've completely forgotten about them, and by the time you realize once you forget about them, it activates their altar. And once that altar is
Oh,
activated, you find that they will start calling you. So just expect
oh,
that, but do not engage, because the moment you engage, that's a road to your destruction. So that's what I'll leave you guys
Yeah.
with.
you know
So keep the
what?
word of God, keep the Bible. For me, even before I even discovered Narcissist, I found this Bible on the train. I never had
Mm,
a Bible. This is a Bible I found on the tree. I feel like it was God telling me that I was surrounded by evil.
say, I gotta
So
tell you something.
God is always looking for his children. He knows who will come to him. He knows who belongs to him. So if God has found a way to find you, whatever way, either through opening your eyes through narcissistic abuse, or opening your eyes through perhaps maybe finding the Bible or whatever, or going to church or whatever, try and get close to him, because it's the only way, the truth, and the light.
Hmm.
Wow, y'all heard that? Oh, y'all, I didn't know we was gonna get all this tonight. Good God, I did not know. But hey, look, I was blind and now I see. Listen, everybody, I want y'all to understand a few things. A few things. First, if you think you're going to get out of this, get through this, get over this, get around this without God, you lying to you. That's just a lie. Let's stop that right there.
It's true.
The altar. We're going to examine the altar in detail because we all had an altar around us. And some of us, if not all of us, still got an altar around us that we
Mhm.
don't know about. And that's how it stays out there when you don't know.
Yeah.
It's an altar right there. It's an altar. We're going to examine this, ladies and gentlemen, because to me, I never, soul tie just don't sit right with me. It never did.
Mhm.
But it's something about that person that it's just so hard to shake it, right?
Yeah.
And we're wondering, what is that? Why can't I just leave this one, the one that is absolutely not for me? Why is it so difficult to leave that person alone? Because we don't know where that altar is, and we don't know how they using that altar against us. Man, they using words, and they using words that are spells against us, and we don't even know it. And some of us are using that same word against ourselves and
Yeah.
don't know it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But you gonna know it before we done with you. You are going to know it before we are through with all this. I ain't about to throw no hocus pocus at you. We're gonna break it down word for word. We're gonna go toe to toe with the truth, because that's what truth is all about. Finding truth. That's what it's all about, guys. It's not something that's scripted somewhere.
Yeah.
Think about that. If the truth was just obvious like that out there, y'all think that devil gonna just allow us to see the truth, to
Right.
be exposed to the truth? And because the truth is freedom. The truth
Mhm.
is freedom. It's freedom from that altar. It's freedom from those ill behaviors. And that's one thing that the devil ain't never trying to give up, not that freedom. Hey, y'all, we appreciate y'all for coming and hanging out tonight on a Friday night. Good God Almighty, I feel like I went to Bible study tonight. That felt like Bible study. Like you really, I know I learned some stuff tonight. I don't know about the rest of you. I think everybody in here learned some things this evening. And we're going to listen, we're going to pick it right back up next Friday night. So y'all better be ready. Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to leave you just like I came in here with nothing but love, peace, and soul train.
Thank you.
Peace.
Thanks,
Harriet.
Harriet.
Inbox.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much, ladies. Thank you so much for coming through tonight. It has been a true blessing for everybody. Okay.
Yes.
Y'all have a wonderful weekend and happy new year to everybody. We're going to do it much bigger in 25, y'all. Next week. See y'all then. Peace. We out.